to Central Ohio. I mean, I've kind of told this story, but, bounced around, did a few different jobs, but was golfing with Timmy Hall about, what was it, a few months back. He's like, hey, you ever thought about joining us and doing some stuff on the fan? I said, all right. Yeah, let's try it out.
They always say deals get done on the golf course.
That's right.
And they weren't lying. The guy to my right, apparently he's a pretty good golfer, too. I don't know if you...
Well, me and Dane have golfed together. I'm working on my game. I'm not, I'm a work in progress.
Okay.
Everybody is. You're good.
I'm a work in progress.
You're good.
I'm good. All right. Well, then I'll take
legit.
it.
He's
I'll
legit.
take it.
You know what else was good last night was that final score on the scoreboard over at the shoe for Ohio State, 52-6 against Akron. I couldn't wait to chop it up with you guys today and just get your thoughts on what you saw in game one and what it's like to be a team that all off season heard about the noise, heard about national championship this, awards that, and to start a game, maybe a little clunky. What's that like for a team to now go back into the lab after one game and look at the score and say, yes, that's nice, but also, no, probably have some things we got to clean up?
Yeah, they do have some things, I guess, but you got to really squint for them. I know, and we kind of had to, too, in the media. It was obviously a slow start, but rewatching the game, I went back and looked at it. There wasn't many glaring issues. I mean, I'm sure they'd want to get the run game going a little bit more, but they truly didn't have to in the second half by the time it came around. Yeah. I think both running backs looked explosive. I mean, when they had the ball, I think Travion looked great. So, I mean, yeah, there's things, but until you get a true test, there's not really much you can sharpen. That's the unfortunate part of these first 3 weeks is we're going to have a lot to talk about of what they did great, and we can kind of pick on stuff they didn't do quite right. But, the mismatch in talent, it's tough to get a real good read.
No doubt about it. Depot, what stuck out to you last week?
Yeah, I think that's the thing with these blowout games. And, watching films for blowout games are always a lot tougher than you might think, because you're like, you want to get praise for, the big plays and these things. But when you really break down blowout games, you're like getting, nagged on for, hey, your alignment was off, or, hey, like, we need to run this route at this depth. Like, you can really nitpick, and you can almost overcoach, the review of these games, trying to tighten up, operations, breaking the huddle, things like that, motions. But I think overall the offense looked pretty clean in operations, and that's really all you can kind of try to execute in these early, I wouldn't say easier games, but games that you should win, right? Let's execute better.
No question.
As big a challenge as the focus for the players, at least.
Yes.
Because you're starting to think at some point, when you get to the second half of that game, and that's how the players will think, are like, okay, I want to make a big play.
Absolutely.
It's just like I'm seeing everybody else doing. I want to do something, and you're pressing, and you're not focusing on the little things. If this is a tight game or a really tough matchup, then you're focusing on your job, your details. So, I think, these coaches, this staff's been through this part of the season before. I think they would know we're not going to go in and overcoach this thing.
No doubt. One thing that, I kept hearing all week coming out of the Woody when everybody was talking specifically about game number 2 was getting off to a fast start, a clean start in this game. Here, from a former player's perspective, what does that mean for us that aren't in the huddle aren't out there on the field? When you hear them talk about get off to a fast start and a clean start, what does that look like for you guys?
I would say executing great sets early, right? Like I call like play drives, I call them sets, right? Like you want to be able to put together great sets early. Like you want a first quarter drive that ends in points, right? Not in a punt. You want a first quarter drive that, you run the ball in, you pass the ball in, and you're really at the mercy of, I think in these games, Maddie, like in training camp, you install 1, 2, 3, 4, and those are the days. You want to be able to beat these teams with install 1 through 4. And being able to execute install 1 through 4, it means that, hey, these are the plays that we've been running longer than any other plays, right, this whole season. Like, slant flat the one side and spot corner to the other side. Like, we shouldn't have any mess ups on this, right? Like, we should be doing this cleanly, and I think that's what getting off to a fast start is. And you don't want to blame Jeremiah Smith, but he's an 18-year-old freshman. He drops the first one, and he has lines up in the neutral zone the next play. Like, let's get rid of that stuff.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of that stuff early so that we can get some great drive starters and put up some good sets.
One thing I couldn't wait to ask you guys about, what was that play? And you brought them up, so we might as well go there. There were so many new names, new toys, if you will, that a lot of Buckeye fans wanted to see, in game number one, whether it was Caleb Downs on defense or Quinshon Junkins on offense, and then obviously Will Howard, which we'll get to here in a little bit. But Jeremiah Smith was a lot of, the noise this offseason with what he could be. I mean, you're talking about the number one overall recruit in his class above all the quarterbacks at the wide receiver position. He was the guy. And what do you think that was like for him, and maybe what that could have done for him in a positive light, dropping that screen? Because obviously he went on to do some good things, but just talk about maybe that moment, playing that position, and kind of maybe what he was dealing with there.
Yeah, the upside, and what I'm hoping happened was that was a good thing for him.
Yeah,
because it kind of, if he catches that and goes to the house on his first one, we might not have been able to fit his head inside the chute, and I would have been the same way because it might have scored. Yeah. So it kind of settled him down. But I also think you saw him. Watching him, it looked like he was trying to make up for that the rest of the game. He's like, okay, I'll catch this one with one hand. Yeah. Okay, I'll do this one, and was just kind of calm throughout. Made some what seemed boring and run of the mill, just like nice little hook routes. Yep. Tough catches though when you're a young when you're a freshman at that level, at first game in the big stadium. I mean, I was surprised that in watching the game, it didn't look like he was just happening into these. It looked like they were treating him like a number one.
Yeah. They were targeting him.
They were scheming. Like the offense was scheming as like, okay, this is wide receiver one. We're going to get him going, which that's rare.
No doubt.
No, and I think that, I just saw a social media post where Beanie kind of said he had a conversation with Harline. He's referring to him as like LeBron James, not in like he's going to be the greatest all time, but no, he's pro ready as an 18-year-old guy, and just the things that he does. I mean, like my favorite play in the game was a slant that he caught, right? You got a junior, senior DB playing man coverage on you in the goal line. Things are tight, things are bang, bang. And for him to catch a ball with his hands and finish on his feet, like that shows his strength as a player. And we always talk about playing strength, your core strength, like how can you fight through, physicality. I mean, the dude does it with so much ease that it's scary.
To me, fellas, he just doesn't look like a freshman. No. He just doesn't look like a freshman. He looks like he's been in that, what do they call it, the Body by Maradi program for a few years. And so to get that progress out of the gate, to get that production out of the gate is just amazing, man. The dude put on a banger of a performance and went to the paint 2 times, and now we're just downhill with what he can do moving forward. Got to take a break. When we come back, we'll hear from the QB1, Will Howard. How's he feeling about his performance and what he did? We'll get to that. And also Coach Day, things they need to improve upon in week 2, taking on Western Michigan under the lights tonight in the shoe. We'll get to that next. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan pregame show right here on the Fan.
Fan Traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
Well, we're kicking things off with a crash today. It's over on 71 southbound, just past 11th Avenue. Reports are it's blocking the center lane, so if that's part of your commute right now, be ready for that. Otherwise, looking good. Closer to Ohio Stadium, things are moving nicely on the highways and the side streets alike. Once again, that reminder about Cannon Drive. You need a West Stadium parking pass to get onto Cannon today. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
First down! Yes! Oh, what? Just cleared that drain last week.
Well, clearly, that didn't work. Would you please just call the waterworks?
At the Waterworks, we mean clean. We'll get your drains good as new on the first down. And as for him, well, there's always the Buckeyes. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results.
Hey fans, it's Bobby Carpenter here for QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine that helps restore aching joints. So if you're tired of arthritic pain in your knees, hips, back, or shoulders, it's time to finally get relief, improve your mobility, and get back to doing the things you love with QC Kinetics. No pain, no meds, no surgery, no downtime. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation with my friend Dr. Ray Tesner. They have locations in Dublin or Gahanna. Call 380-208-4544 or go to qckinetics.com/Columbus.
When you travel, they always say, get a room with a view. And there's no better way to travel than the roomy new Toyota Camry. It's all hybrid all the time, so you can take your travels even farther. Now through September 30th, you can lease a Camry LE for $299 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing with approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Book your room now. Toyota. Let's go places.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Ford versus Ferrari. The ultimate showdown is coming to Valley Ford of Columbus. Experience the thrill of Ford GTs and Ferraris for your up-close viewing at the Ultimate Car Show this Friday, September 13th from 6 to 9 p.m. Everyone's invited to check out these iconic machines and enjoy live music and food trucks. Show off your special car, too. All makes and models are welcome, and you can register them at the show or online at valleyfordofcolumbus.com. The official dealership of Carnell Tate and T-Bone, Valley Ford of Columbus.
I've made a decision. We will air the Browns game this week. We're the home of the Browns. We air them every week. Yes, I knew that. Catch the Browns and Cowboys from the land.
Live coverage starts Sunday at 2:30.
Yay football, the Fan.
Hi, I'm Laura De Leon, president of Key Bank in Central Ohio. Here at Key, we believe in providing a helping hand in our community. While helping hands are wonderful, a helping bank is even better. That's a bank committed to solving people's financial needs, but it doesn't stop there. We advocate, we support, we listen, and we volunteer. That's a bank that is always ready to meet you in the moment. Key Bank opens doors.
Key Bank, member FDIC.
1 in 3 student athletes gets disturbing messages from sports bettors. This threatens the safety and mental health of college athletes like Tyler.
I'm a student and an athlete. I don't deserve to be threatened over my play. If you're upset about your sports bet, don't take it out on me, because I'm more than a bet.
These threats are not acceptable. Stop harassing college athletes over a bet. Learn more at morethanabet.org.
What's better than cheering the Buckeyes on to victory? Wearing our exclusive collection of OSU jewelry as you watch. Hi, this is Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. We're an officially licensed jeweler of The Ohio State University, and we've created beautiful Buckeye jewelry that will last a lifetime. From Blocko earrings to Diamond Script Ohio necklaces, we've got luxury Buckeye gifts starting at $99. No matter where you're watching, show your Buckeye love at the Diamond Cellar, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks to help grow businesses, communities, families. A legacy of capability and technology that has made Ford F-Series America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. This is the next generation of Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2023 calendar year total sales. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Cool and comfortable this Saturday afternoon with sunshine and highs near 70. Overnight, mostly clear and chilly. Lows near 40 and even a few upper 30s possible in rural areas. On Sunday, mostly sunny, highs in the mid-70s. And then low 80s again on Monday with more sunshine. I'm meteorologist Mike Joyce on 97.1 The Fan.
Got your game face on? I mean, have you actually painted your face? Good job, buddy. It's game day on The Fan.
Sponsored by Reichert Ford.
The Fan. This is the Toyota Fan pregame show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Key Bank. Key Bank opens doors.
Your flagship home for Buckeye football, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Welcome back in. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan pregame show. I'm Matty Ice. Dane Sanzenbacher, DeVere Posey, 2 Buckeye wide receivers chopping it up with me today. Kickoff tonight is 7:30 here in Columbus. Dane, how did you feel about waiting around all day as a player?
No, it's the worst.
Okay.
I mean, I think the sweet spot's 3:30, right? I mean,
favorite game time.
Yeah, 3:30 is a great game time because noon feels a little early because you have to get going way early. You're not quite ready. I mean, I will say, depending on the game, in some of our big games, I liked the 7:30 games because the day is torture. But once it's like as soon as you started the walk, you're like, okay, this is cool. This feels important here.
Do you remember the home opener? Marshall was a night game.
Yeah,
and it was torture because it's the home opener. We're playing like. You're trying to get up, but you're just like, all right, we're under the lights. And, like, this is back when Ohio Stadium, they would have to roll-up lights that were tall enough to, like, shine over. So it was still kind of dark in there, but I got to go with Dane. Like, 3:30 is the best game time. You get to sleep to 9. And then, like, once you start breakfast, it's meetings, then it's the walk, then it's warm-ups, and then you're in it. And then it's, and then the best part about 3:30 games, you get first half. Like, later in the year, first half is a day game. Second half is a night game. You get the best of both worlds.
I think that's the vibe we'll get watching that Oregon game in a few weeks, right? Where it'll be 4:30 kick their time, and our time obviously will be, the sun will be setting. But by the time they come out in the second half, that game could be absolutely incredible. And I know, Oregon got a little bit of a scare last week dealing with, an FCS program. But either way, that game absolutely should be very exciting. Tonight, it seems like Ohio State should be in control again. I know Western Michigan, they did throw a bit of a scare into Wisconsin last week.
They threw a haymaker.
They were going into the fourth quarter of that game leading, so that's something you cannot ignore. But just with the wealth of talent Ohio State has and knocking off some of the rust last week, I don't think any of us are going to be surprised if they get through this thing cleanly and dominate maybe from start to finish. Let's hear from the head coach. Here's Ryan Day talking about some things they need to improve on going into week 2.
It's just so many things across the board. It's not just one area. You can watch all four phases of special team: kickoff, return, punt, return. Just identify things. Like for instance, on that play of a punt return, those plays go like 12 to 14 seconds. They're long plays. And I thought our guys busted their tail for like the first 8 to 10. And then for the last 4, like, how do you replicate that in practice? It's not as easy as you think. So, like, that's just one example. There are many other examples in special teams on offense and defense. Each guy has their things that they need to improve on. You go through the list of things. We go through that with the team. We watch the film on Sunday, and then we go. I'm not going to get into all the details of it, but just little things all across the board that we need to improve. When you have a bunch of those things, it adds up. And we know where we need to be, and I think the foundation hasn't been built yet. What we talked about, the preseason and how that foundation was being laid. Well, we're still building that up and trying to figure out, how the preseason translated to game 1. Again, there's some assumptions that were made, like, hey, this guy's ready, this guy isn't, or maybe this guy's a little bit better than we thought he was, or this technique is not near where it needs to be, or maybe there's somebody in there who maybe thought they were in better shape than they were, and after about 20, 25 plays, their game started to fatigue, or maybe there's some guys in there who the stage was a little bit too big for them early on. They had to settle down. I mean, these are all the things, and without getting into the details and all the things that we talk about as a team, like those are the areas that we all have, and each player has their own things that they need to improve on, and then offense and defense are focusing on things as a group.
Depot, before I hand it off to you, I have to imagine Coach Day, he was pleased with the result, but he also, I think, had to be happy with the things that they had to work on, combined with what we just mentioned with Western Michigan and that team going into a Big Ten venue and maybe shaking the room a little bit. Now you have to have your team's, I think, full attention. I'm sure he does. It's a veteran team. I don't know if they need much of that all year long, but that's just one thing I think probably worked for Coach Day this week, or some of those things that they could clean up in the opponent doing what they did last week.
I love the rhetoric around Coach Day just really diving into special teams. I mean, for the last couple of years, you've had, Parker Fleming, special teams coach. His whole tenure here as Ohio State, he's had a designated special teams coach. But, like, when you're a head coach, you're like the king in the facility in terms of details, right? Like, you're like more detail oriented than anybody else, and that's why you're the head coach. And for him to be focusing on special teams, right, it's going to add another level. I mean, I heard an interview this week how Coach Day did a study saying that when punts like hit the turf on turf fields, they roll an extra 10 to 15 yards. And so they're focusing on holding up longer, getting Brandon Ennis an opportunity to return a kick, but he has to field every single one. And so, like, my only thing during this whole tenure with Day is like, we can't win a game on special teams. And I felt like Tress, I mean, me and Dane have played in games where there was a kick like it was Wisconsin we played here. We had a kick. We had a defensive touchdown. We only scored one offensive touchdown in that game, but we had a punt return. And like special teams, when you can win on that phase of the game, it just allows for those tighter games when more talent is evenly matched, but you're better than them on special teams, and that day is focusing in on that. Like, I think that's an area of growth for this team this year that I'm really excited about, that he's locked in on that, because, man, we've been leaving a lot on the table, right? And we're going to win some games this year through special teams.
When you had a guy like Teddy Ginn,
yep,
or even Ray Small,
yep,
or you had guys like when we were there that could make those plays on punt return, for a coaching staff, it turns that into now an opportunity.
Yes.
There are, and it depends on who you have back there, but it seems like the way Brandon Innes played in week 1.
He was aggressive.
Now they might start looking at, okay, now the punt return team is not just a change of possession. It's like, okay, can we try to make a play here? And there's a difference. I played on teams with both. I played in Chicago with Hester.
It's crazy.
It was, punt return was an experience.
Like, you don't want to be the guy that missed that block.
No, the fans were on their feet during punt return. It wasn't just like, this is going to be a fair catch, change of possession.
No.
So I think they're in that mode, and it is cool to see that they're thinking like, okay, how can we really change the field or try to score on this thing?
I love that.
Game day coverage is sponsored by Reichert Ford on the Fan, Ohio sports destination. Let's hit a little bit here on Will Howard. Let's hear from Coach Day, though, first on what the quarterback scramble means for an offense.
What Justin Fields did a great job of was that, he would extend plays on third down. And when you can steal a couple third downs in a game with scrambles, that makes a huge difference. It changes how the defense plays against you. And, you can extend plays, which allows receivers to get open, longer. So, I think he's going to be in a little bit more of a drop-back situation here than maybe previously. So he's going to have those opportunities. But he also has to make good decisions when he's doing that. The play at the end of the half really put the ball in jeopardy. That was a really poor decision. And so, that's a part of it. You got to take care of the football.
One thing that stuck out to me in that clip, Dane, was when he used the word steal, right? With the ability that Will has. I think when I hear that, I think about a play caller drawing up a play and then maybe things not going how you wanted them to, but that guy with that skill set can steal that first down and make you as a play caller look pretty good. So we've heard about it all off season. We heard about how he got his body right and how electrifying he was and how fast he was this off season. But to see a little bit of that last week was exciting, because I think the ceiling of this offense is high with him back there doing his thing.
Right. There's levels to mobile quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
So it's like there's guys that you're going to plan for. This is part of what we do because this guy can run, and this is his part of his game. I don't think that's what the expectation is or needs to be for Will Howard.
Yeah.
But that's why steal is the perfect word for it. It's like, this is a guy who is capable of doing this if we need it, and that is a huge difference. Being able to just do that good enough that we're going to design our offense to be able to run the ball well. We want you to throw the ball well, and it looks like he's comfortable doing it either on the run or dropping back. Yeah. But can you steal yards if you need them? A lot of times that changes games.
Yeah, I mean, we played with a running quarterback, and like as a wide receiver, you run a route, Matty, and you know when you're open, right? Or let's be honest, we played with Terrell. We were open, but he was still running, But anyway, I think we were playing against Iowa. I dropped a huge third down play, and I'm thinking the game is over. We line it up for fourth down. TP goes and picks up a fourth and 13 or something like that. When you have a quarterback that can do that, I don't think defense, they can prepare for that. It's just hard to prepare for. And just to Will Howard's credit, I thought he looked very nimble on his feet. I thought he made, pretty good decisions. And you can tell that it's a little juice in there. You can tell it's some juice in there, right? And we're going to see it at a big moment.
Last year at Kansas State, I think he had one run that went between 60 to 80 yards. So that's in the bag for him there for sure. And I think with him talking about how he slimmed down, there's probably even more juice to that that we'll see this year. We'll hear from Will Howard next, and you will hear what he liked most about his first performance over in the shoe against Akron. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan pregame show right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
Well, if you were planning to head south on 71 right now, be ready for a delay. A crash in the center lane of 71 South just past 11th Avenue is causing a backup. Over closer to Ohio Stadium, no reports of problems right now. It's looking really good. Surface streets like Lane Avenue are moving, just building slightly in volume. No problems on either side of 315 at the moment. Things are moving. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
When you travel, they always say, get a room with a view. And there's no better way to travel than in a roomy new Toyota, like the best-selling RAV4. Now through September 30th, get 4.99 APR financing on a new gas-powered 2024 RAV4. Or lease a RAV4 LE for $339 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details. Or go to Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
First down! Oh, what? Just cleared that drain last week.
Well, clearly, that didn't work. Would you please just call the waterworks?
At the Waterworks, we mean clean. We'll get your drains good as new on the first down. And as for him, well, there's always the Buckeyes. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
Hey fans, it's Bobby Carpenter here for QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine that helps restore aching joints. So if you're tired of arthritic pain in your knees, hips, back, or shoulders, it's time to finally get relief, improve your mobility, and get back to doing the things you love with QC Kinetics. No pain, no meds, no surgery, no downtime. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation with my friend Dr. Ray Tesner. They have locations in Dublin or Gahanna. Call 380-208-4544 or go to qckinetics.com/Columbus.
We have a lot of football happening. I'm here to help. Set your radio preset to the Fan. Very good. Now set a second one to ESPN Columbus. It's the HD2 button. Lastly, go to the Fan's HD3 and save the Fan 3. Crisis averted. You're welcome.
We're dealing at Reichert Ford. That means we got the car you need at the price you want. But don't take it from me. Hear it from
Buckeye running back, Travion Henderson.
Reichert has what I'm looking for.
Defensive star, Jack Sawyer.
Grew up watching these guys on TV. My family's bought tons of cars from them. With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car.
$2,500 low price guarantee.
Thousands of vehicles are waiting. ReichertFord.com.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I have the greatest lawn in the neighborhood every single year. And the reason why is water and Weed Man. Good news, I'm only selling you one of them. Fall is the perfect time to improve your lawn for next year. The work you do or don't do now is directly reflected next spring. If you want a beautiful spring lawn, it starts now, not next April. Now through the end of September, mention the promo code Common Man and get a free blanket weed control with the purchase of a full program. For a free quote, go to weedman.com. That's weedman.com.
At AAA, it's our policy to look on the plus side, and AAA Plus members tend to take the same view. Take Martin. Last Monday, his coffee surprised him with an extra 10 degrees of Fahrenheit. It was just the jolt of energy he needed. Later, when he walked into a door, he was happy to provide entertainment for his coworkers.
I'm okay.
And when his car battery took early retirement, he knew expert roadside assistance was only a call away.
Hello, AAA.
Become a AAA Plus member and experience peace of mind on the plus side. Towing is subject to a 7-day waiting period. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Ford versus Ferrari. The ultimate showdown is coming to Valley Ford of Columbus. Experience the thrill of Ford GTs and Ferraris for your up-close viewing at the Ultimate Car Show this Friday, September 13th from 6 to 9 p.m. Everyone's invited to check out these iconic machines and enjoy live music and food trucks. Show off your special car, too. All makes and models are welcome, and you can register them at the show or online at valleyfordofcolumbus.com. The official dealership of Carnell Tate and T-Bone, Valley Ford of Columbus.
This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
Brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus.
Good afternoon. I'm Buddy Wells, starting with top 25 scores that are all late in the third or early in the fourth quarter. Number 3, Texas is up big, 24-6 at number 10, Michigan. Number 8, Penn State has taken a 27-24 lead over Bowling Green. Arkansas leads 21-10 at number 16, Oklahoma State. Number 17, Kansas State trails 20-13 at Tulane. And number 23, Georgia Tech, they trail 20-14 at Syracuse. In the Big Ten, Minnesota's up big over Rhode Island, 31-0. And Rutgers, they're up big as well as they lead Akron 35-10. Of course, tonight, it's second-ranked Ohio State at home as they host Western Michigan. Kickoff is at 7:30. This update is sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus. Ford versus Ferrari night is Friday, September 13th at Valley Ford of Columbus. Visit valleyfordofcolumbus.com for more info. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Can you smell it? Buckeye football is in the air. You're listening to the Toyota Fan Pregame Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Key Bank. Key Bank opens doors.
Your home for the Buckeyes, the Fan. It's time to find out what they're saying.
All right, welcome back in. Matty Ice, DeVere Posey, Dane Sanzenbacher getting you ready for game number 2 for the Ohio State Buckeyes, welcoming in Western Michigan. The Broncos rolling to town. 7:30 kick. We'll have you covered all day right here on The Fan. Before we hear from Will Howard, I want to roll out a stat line from last week. 17-28, 228 through the air, 3 touchdowns. He did have 4 carries in the game for 18 yards, 4.5 a pop. Not mad at that at all. One thing I could not wait to talk to you two about when it came to Will's performance last night was the moment for me when I was like, okay, I see the vision. And when he came from Kansas State, one question mark I had was the pure throwing ability and the consistency of that from Will Howard. You looked at completion percentage, it was about 61%. You know what I'm saying? Not bad, right? Not bad, but definitely some room for improvement. But I tell you what really opened my eyes, fellas. It was that second touchdown throw to Jeremiah Smith. And you touched on this earlier from Jeremiah's perspective and what he did. But to me, that looked like really good coverage there. And that was a ball that was, I don't know if it can ever be perfectly thrown, but that was almost as perfect, I think, as it can get. And I just fast-tracked my mind to some of those games potentially against Iowa and against Oregon and Penn State and Michigan, to where coverage is obviously going to get better and better. And the ball placement on that throw.
We're talking about the fade?
No, I'm talking about the slant where Jeremiah, second touchdown to Jeremiah, where the corner's right in his back pocket and Will puts it there. That, for me, was that moment where I'm like, okay, I know he's going to be able to help out this offense with his legs, but the threading of the needle there from Will really, I think, made me feel good about what he can be this year with his arm as well.
Yeah, I mean, you turn on the Kansas State film. I mean, this kid has played in huge games. I mean, he played against TCU in the Big 12 championship the year that they went to the national championship. And Will in the Kansas State Cougars, they took him to overtime, and he was throwing some dimes, and he was able to play in those big moments. And now he's in Ohio. I mean, he is a major college quarterback that has experience and has a lot of wins under his belt. I mean, you don't have to do much here. You know, you just continue to do what you did well in terms of getting the playmakers the ball, taking care of the football, making great decisions. And, Matty, I think the sky's the limit for this guy, man. He really fell into a great situation. We're lucky to have him.
Dane, before we get your take on what you saw from him, let's hear from Will Howard and what he liked about his first performance as a Buckeye.
Most impressed with my decisiveness, and I feel like once I did make decisions, I pulled the trigger and I was ready. And even sometimes I didn't make the perfect decision, but if you're on time and you're decisive with it, then that can kind of make up for mistakes sometimes. But that's obviously not the world I want to live in, and I want to make good decisions so I don't have to get bailed out by being decisive.
What'd you think about him?
I think I'm with most of the Ohio State fan base has got to be pleasantly surprised with what they saw. I think the book on Will when he came in, and what I was hearing was all about like the 68-yard run. Was like here's a big kid, he can run the ball. You didn't hear much about his arm, but if I had just watched week 1 against Akron in a silo, like, oh, this is a throwing quarterback.
Yeah.
This kid, he's throwing it, and even some that barely missed. Like there was one to Emeka that Emeka was out of bounds.
I thought that was a touchdown.
I did too.
Yeah.
But that was like a really like a gutsy throw. It's not like in rhythm. He was just like he said in that clip. He's like, when I made a decision, I threw it. It's what you love to see. And I did not know what to expect. We were at practice a couple times. I didn't get to see him throw that much. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I've seen what I need to see.
I know something that Coach Day mentioned too when he talked about his throwing was like the power that he has on his throws too. And to my eye, it did look like the arm strength was at a higher level than Kyle. But we've seen quarterbacks play at a lot of levels to where the arm strength is really good, but they don't have the changeup, right? And I think that can probably work, for and against you in certain spots. But it does look like he's going to have the ability to where it gets cold and maybe windy and all those things outside, that he'll be able to rip the ball and get through some of those elements to his playmakers.
I mean, in terms of pro comparison, I mean, like if you look at all the pros who got starting jobs, he's a Justin Herbert, Josh Allen comp to me. Like, I mean, he's 6'4", 6'5". He can move. He can extend plays, and that's his ceiling in terms of arm strength, and that's what we're kind of expecting out of him. I mean, for me, you're with Chip Kelly and Ryan Day, two of the best quarterback coaches, offensive gurus in the last 20 years in college football. I expect him to get better while he's here, right? I expect him to play at another level that Kansas State couldn't get out of him. So, for me, if Will has a great year, right, guys, he throws 20 touchdowns. Do you guys see him slipping in the first or second round? Is that too crazy to say?
I don't know. I'm not good at the draft predictions.
Here's what I say.
I would say I would doubt it. I mean, I think a lot of the times at this point, and it's happened. Weirder things have happened, but a lot of the pro scouts, they've got their minds kind of made up on guys, and who the dudes that they're looking at. Now, you probably wouldn't have said that about J.J. McCarthy either, though. That's a real. I mean, to counter my own point, I wouldn't have said, okay, this guy's going to be a first rounder until last year happened. Right. So you never know.
To get to my point on this, Depot. Like, it could be the Bo Nix effect.
Right.
Where Bo Nix
That's a really good example.
Goes over to Oregon, puts himself, around better structure with playmakers and coaching and all of that. And then you start to look at the guy and say, well, wait a minute, there's something there. And to me, the skill set of Will, I think, is more intriguing than Bo Nix, especially when you talk about his lower half. Bo Nix really efficient with the rock out to his playmakers, and that was a clean way of football that he played. But I think now, to your point, Depot, when you leave Kansas State, come from Manhattan to Columbus, and you've got the Jeremiahs and the Emekas and the two running backs behind you and all the toys around you, it makes you look a lot better. And so if he can showcase some of the things that you highlighted, with the throws and with the skill set that he has, I would not be surprised if he's one of those risers this year, because you look at where the NFL is, and just even at the collegiate level, but especially right now in the league, it's such an attractive thing to have all those quarterbacks, right, that can hurt you on third down. And you don't have to be, the Lamar or the Kyler types, but Pat Mahomes has been killing the league with, his skill set and not being the fastest guy, but those back-breaking runs. And I think Will, where they're talking about what is he running, 20 miles an hour, north of 20 miles an hour this offseason, I'm not going to put it past him, right? If he continues to stack and stack and stack, and we know he's got to have those showcase games, then we know one of them is coming in a couple of weeks. But I think even before that Oregon game, you want to put your name on the map with NFL scouts. You go up against Kirk Ferentz in that unit, which we know the history of that program is defense, special teams, run game, all of that. But if he can get through that type of game cleanly and spin the rock with, his ability and move his feet around and hurt that defense, that could absolutely, I think, start that narrative for him.
I would love for that to happen for Will, man. I think that's a portal success, right? When you go somewhere, you win, and you put yourself in a better draft position than you would have been last year. Like, and to me, that's got to be under 5% success rate in the portal, right? But everyone who enters the portal believes that's what's going to happen. Like, I'm going to go here and improve my draft stock. But I think for Will Howard, around the country, him and Cam Ward have the highest chance or the highest probability to have that portal success rate really happen. Right?
No, it's a great question, Depot, because it led us down a road that I think is very intriguing. And like I've always thought, just on the outside looking in, you can come to a program like this, and if you ball for 1 year, that puts a nice shine on your brand, and the NFL will absolutely say, hey man, let's take a chance on this kid. I always think about the Malik Hooker year. Malik Hooker,
oh man,
just that 1 year, right, where he just felt like every week he was making a play, turned him into a high-end draft pick in the NFL. So we shall see what comes from Will today and game number 2 for him. But when we come back, we'll get to one tough animal. The three of us will look back to last week, a guy or two that we thought balled out that put his name on the map that could be a playmaker moving forward in weeks to come on the college football season. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan pregame show right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
On 315 north and southbound, it's just a little more crowded around those Lane Avenue and Ackerman Road exits. Not a big delay, just a few more brake lights. The backup is happening on 71 southbound right now. There was an accident at 71 South and 11th in the center lane, causing a pretty big slowdown. I recommend hopping off at Hudson and taking Summit south to reconnect with 71. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
A system for every home and every budget with Logan Services 55th anniversary sale. Replace your air conditioner and save up to 55% on a qualifying Trane furnace. And take action with financing. 0% APR financing for 72 months. It's hard to stop a Trane. Estimates are free and next day installation is available now. So schedule your appointment online. We're the home of fast, friendly service, Logan Services.
People can't say enough amazing things about Vanscoy Hair Clinics. Men and women struggle with hair loss every day, and they completely change their lives. Vanscoy Hair Clinics is the only company in Ohio that has PRP, platelet-rich plasma, and a multi-unit hair grafting hair transplant procedure. Go to vanscoyhair.com for more info, or call 614-432-8042. Here's what some of their hair transplant clients have said.
Around 26, 27, I lost almost all of my hair on top. It changed my life in ways that I cannot imagine.
My hair is going to continue growing for the rest of my life.
There is hope that you can do something about your hair loss.
Multi-unit hair grafting gives you 3 times more hair per procedure, saving you time and money. Hair transplants are more affordable than ever, and PRP is a fast, easy, and effective 45-minute treatment for thinning or damaged hair. Call Vanscoy for a free consultation, 614-432-8042, or visit vanscoyhair.com. That's 614-432-8042. Find out what procedure will restore your hair.
When you travel, they always say, get a room with a view. And there's no better way to travel than in a roomy new Toyota. Like the family-size Highlander with room for up to 8. Now through September 30th, you can lease a Highlander XLE all-wheel drive for $489 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details. Or go to Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Hello, friends. The Sportsbook at Hollywood Casinos, the official sports betting sponsor of Common Man and T-Bone. Watch the games, get in on the action, and admire their AstroTurf. It's Man and Bone approved. The Fan.
Hey fans, it's Bobby Carpenter here for QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine that helps restore aching joints. So if you're tired of arthritic pain in your knees, hips, back, or shoulders, it's time to finally get relief, improve your mobility, and get back to doing the things you love with QC Kinetics. No pain, no meds, no surgery, no downtime. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation with my friend Dr. Ray Tesner. They have locations in Dublin or Gahanna. Call 380-208-4544 or go to qckinetics.com/Columbus.
Bobcat Enterprises is your family-owned partner for landscaping and construction projects. Bobcat Enterprises sells and services a full line of Bobcat equipment, including compact track loaders, excavators, tractors, and more. Plus, Bobcat rents compact equipment and attachments. With Bobcat, you can rent the machine and own the results. Keep your business local. Stop by Bobcat Enterprises in Hilliard, Reynoldsburg, or Zanesville, and find current specials and our full line of products by visiting bobcatent.com today.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks to help grow businesses, communities, families. A legacy of capability and technology that has made Ford F-Series America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. This is the next generation of Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2023 calendar year total sales.
Look what we have here.
It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can. It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can. Mini can, big taste.
Enjoy all the football this weekend, but remember to join us for Reaction Monday.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
The Fan. Saturday in Ohio. Birds are chirping. The sky is, blue, gray? I don't know. This is recorded in advance. But the most wonderful thing of all is Buckeye football. You're listening to the Toyota Fan Pregame Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Key Bank. Key Bank opens doors.
Your flagship home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. The Fan's one tough animal.
All right, welcome back into the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show. Matty Ice, DeVere Posey, Dane Sanzenbacher in the house getting you ready for Ohio State and Western Michigan. Dane, you're the newest member to the family. This is week 1 for you. We got many weeks to go, and I cannot wait, so we're going to let you lead off. Who was your one tough animal this week?
I'm going to take the low-hanging fruit here.
Okay.
Because, admittedly, and I told you guys this, I thought one tough animal, I thought we were picking Ohio State guys. And then you're like, no, yeah.
That's my fault. That's my fault.
First time.
I didn't clarify it enough. That's on me. That's my bad.
But the low-hanging fruit's Jeremiah Smith.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
It's just like, what you saw was, and we should apologize to Jeremiah, because it's almost like from here on out, we're going to bypass the fact that you're even a freshman.
Yeah,
you are going to be critiqued now. You are going to be expected to play like a number 1 receiver in the Big Ten. No, not even in the whole conference, but a number 1 receiver in this league. We're just going to have to not talk about the fact that you're a freshman because you don't look like it.
No.
So I can't treat you.
No,
I can't. I've raised my expectation.
Yeah.
So that's a guy that, like, you heard all the chatter about it, but there's a difference. I can't remember another freshman, especially at a skill position, doing that in their debut. So
it's a great call, Dane. It's a great call, and look, we know he's got so many more football games to go, and even when you flip the page to next year, and I know we got to be where our feet are right now, but you think about where that quarterback room is going into next year, right, with a guy like possibly Julian Sand or Aaron Nolan and those guys spinning the rock to Jeremiah Smith.
Tavion Sinclair, possibly.
No doubt, absolute beast. So he's going to be in good hands, right, and he's going to make life a lot easier for those guys. So no, that's a great call out of you, man, just because to the ability to do that in game number 1 was just absolutely crazy. And he's here for all the smoke. I think he's here for everything, and he's not going to back down, and this is just only the beginning.
And it might settle a little bit. It actually undoubtedly will settle a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think that's also a great thing for Ohio State, because the hotter he gets, the more it opens things up for Emeka. I mean, he's waiting in the wings. We're forgetting, like,
he's one of the best receivers.
He's one of the best receivers in the country.
He can go.
And the more attention that goes this way, I mean, that's going to be a tough cover.
I wanted to ask you, Dane, like, as a freshman, like, I feel like Marvin Harrison had the ability to surprise people. JSN surprised people because of, Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson. Like, how is it going to be for him as a guy, like he's going to get game plan for. Like, he's going to have, like, one guy over him, a Will shading to him, a guy in press coverage. Like, is he ready for that? Like, is he strong enough? Like, you think so?
That's what we're going to find out. That's what I'm saying. Undoubtedly, I think there's a piece of it that you just caught Akron off guard, too.
Right.
I'm sure they were sitting there game planning like, yes, this guy's good, but this guy's one of the best in the country. Our best corner's going here. We're going to kind of tilt this way. It'll be interesting to see, maybe not even this week, but when you start getting into Big Ten play and you have some of the best DBs in the Big Ten saying, okay, young one, let's see what you got. We'll see.
I love it. Can't wait to see what it looks like. Depot, who was your one tough animal?
I'm going to go with Nico Iamaleava from Tennessee. This summer, we were talking about Dark Horse Heisman's, Matty, on one of the Rothman Ice, and I just believe this kid has all of the tools to make him. Very highly recruited. As soon as NIL came out, he had a blockbuster deal to go to Tennessee, and I think he's cashing out on their investment. I mean, he's 6'6", 215, can throw, move the pocket. Last week he went 22 for 28 on 314 yards, no turnovers, and 3 tutties. And they have a big test tonight versus NC State. I mean, their schedule is a solid SEC schedule. I mean, Alabama's coming to them, and then they go to Georgia. But by that time in the year, he's going to be a name that people on ESPN are circling as an impact player around the whole SEC. And I think, he's a guy.
I love it. The coming out party is happening tonight. I'm telling you.
You believe so?
I absolutely believe so.
I can't wait to watch this guy.
Come
just
Monday
hearing about
morning.
him.
Yeah, you got to check him out, man.
Come Monday morning, I think he will be more of a household name. And I know they're going to be fighting, the Ohio State games at 7:30.
Yeah.
And then also you got that big Nebraska-Colorado game at 7:30 as well. But I think late at night, early Sunday morning, people are going to catch the highlights of this kid. And they're going to realize that, Nico Iamaleava is absolutely the truth.
Oh, it's Iamaleava.
It takes a while. You know how it took us a while to get Tua right.
Like, do it again.
Nico Iamaleava. Because
spelling.
We had to go from Tua to DJ Uiagalelei and now Nico Iamaleava. So listen, it'll happen in time because we're gonna have to know his name. I think
we're gonna know. I'm just call him Nico.
When they get Nico, and you know what? That's when you really made it. Nico,
when you're
one
just
name type of guy.
Like Seal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Let me hit you with my one tough animal of the week. I got to talk about a running back. A running back for Boise State.
Yes.
His name is Ashton Jeanty. Ashton Jeanty is one of the best running backs in the country. Looking at the Doak Walker Award odds prior to the season, he was right there in the mix. This is the running back, room, if you will, around the country is loaded. Ollie Gordon, Ohio State guys. These dudes are stacked all over the place. But this guy last week, fellas, 20 carries, 267 yards, and 6 touchdowns. One of them was a 77-yard
20 carries.
20 carries. He averaged 13.4 a touch last week. And I know it was Georgia Southern, but my goodness, the man was in the kitchen cooking. 6 touchdowns. One of them went 77 yards to the house.
On 20 carries, that's that's about 5 a quarter. Like, that's crazy.
And he really has a chance to blow up. We mentioned Nico and his game tonight in front of the national world at 7:30. Boise State takes on Oregon today. And Oregon, look, Dan Lanning's going to have their attention after what they had to go through last week. But this guy maybe can start that dark horse Heisman running back conversation, but maybe more importantly, that Doak Walker Award journey now against Oregon. So they have a bit of a showcase game today. So those are your one tough animals for the week. The Fan Pregame Show is presented by KeyBank. For every financial need, we'll meet you in the moment. KeyBank opens doors. Dan, you mentioned something I want to build off of before we get to the top of the hour, and that's now when you have that showcase game for Jeremiah Smith and, the attention that he's going to draw, the stress that's going to now put on the defense. And so Emeka was one of those guys that I couldn't wait to see what he looked like, because you can get lost in the shuffle quickly here at Ohio State, where the page turns and more talent comes in and year out. So for Emeka now, speak about where you think he is with his game at this point in his career. Now what Jeremiah, not just Jeremiah, but what other guys can do for Emeka on the opposite side of the field.
I still think it's waiting to really establish itself. Yeah. I still think he still hasn't really broken through, and I truly think that Jeremiah Smith now announcing himself will only help that. Yeah. I mean, so he got on Jeremiah Smith's side, obviously what made Marvin great was that even when all the attention was on him, he could still do it. So that's the big question there.
Absolutely.
But Emeka got kind of used to playing in that second role. I don't think that's necessary. I mean, I know we'll overhype week 1 and Jeremiah, but I still think.
Whew. That was fat. Too fast, too furious.
Yeah, we're on campus. By the way, have we mentioned we're live? We are not in studio.
We just saw a speeding ticket.
Man.
Yeah. But I think Emeka still. I still think for this Ohio State offense, he's the guy. Yeah. I think he's going to have a great year this year, and it might not be week 1, week 2, but he's got to have that coming out party.
I agree. And I don't want to discredit Emeka, but he's used to playing around dogs and great talent. I mean, he's been around. I mean, he came into a crazy room, right, and established himself as a punt returner and a kickoff returner. And then this emergence of Marvin Harrison, but he makes big plays in big games. We talk about that Rose Bowl that JSN and Marvin Harrison had. Do you know that we needed to drive the ball to go win? and Emeka gave us a 40-yard return, right? Do you know when we went to Notre Dame and we needed big plays, we hit Emeka in the seam twice?
3rd and 19.
Not Marvin Harrison. We hit Emeka.
Yep.
So, like, when Emeka, when it's time, when the heat is hot, he plays his best.
Yeah,
he plays his best.
Yeah, man. So it's kind of what they call champagne problems for Ohio State with all the options that they have, and Will Howard will be in good hands. We'll be in good hands when we come back because the man that sits on the Iron Throne, a.k.a. Adam King from 10 TV, will join us to talk about everything Ohio State going into week number 2. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
We are starting to see some traffic build up. High Street is pretty crowded between 11th and Lane. 315 north and south, those exit ramps to Lane Avenue right now are seeing some increased volume. And of course, we still have that backup over on 71 South. An earlier accident in the center lane at 71 South and 11th causing quite a backup. I recommend if you're heading south on 71 that you hop off at Hudson or Weber to get around that. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
It's time for huge summer savings at Honda Marysville.
Now through September 14th, get 0% for 60 on any new SUV or truck with a trade. And don't forget our $39 oil change special, where we'll get you in and out in an hour or it's on us.
It really is the perfect time to get to Honda Marysville, where great summer savings are closer than you think.
0% with approved credit, plus finance 80% of MSRP. Offer available with 2010 or newer trade with KBB appraisal of $2,500 or more. Must take delivery from dealer stock on board to 9/14/24.
Meet Abdullah Mahmood, problem gambling counselor at Maryhaven.
More and more people are falling into problem gambling. It can happen so quickly that you don't realize it until you face a crisis. Gambling issues often connect to depression, anxiety, or other addictions. Maryhaven's experts offer comprehensive care. You and your loved ones can count on mental, emotional, and financial guidance.
Confidential and judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today.
If your air conditioning or furnace stops working in the middle of the night, on a weekend, or over a holiday, there's no reason to wait to get it fixed. For 100 years, Atlas Butler has been here for your family. We're always open, we work on all furnace and air conditioner brands, and it's easy and convenient to request service. Call today, get it fixed today. That's our pledge to you.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Your weekend freebie is free Kroger cheese. Simply clip your digital coupon and spend $50 or more Saturday or Sunday. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
We're dealing at Reichert Ford. That means we got the car you need at the price you want. But don't take it from me. Hear it from
Buckeye running back, Travion Henderson.
Riker has what I'm looking for.
Defensive star, Jack Sawyer.
Grew up watching these guys on TV. My family's bought tons of cars for them. With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car.
$2,500 low price guarantee.
Thousands of vehicles are waiting. ReichertFord.com.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
August may seem like the end of summer. It also means the beginning of a lot of things, like back to school, festivals, football. At Buckeye Lake Marina, it means the August savings days are upon us. Get huge discounts on all of the new and used boats that they didn't sell. Every pontoon, tri-toon, sport boats, even fishing boats are ready for you. Save thousands on demo models that have been used all summer to show off amazing features. Some have never even been in the water. Take advantage of the August savings days at Buckeye Lake Marina. Their summer hours continue through the entire month of August. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com for details.
Your local Rite Aid might be closing, but don't worry. It's easy to transfer your prescriptions with GoodRx. First, check prices at GoodRx.com or on our app. Then show your coupon to the pharmacist. It's that simple. GoodRx can save you up to 80% on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, GoodRx is free and it works whether you have insurance or not. Download the app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
30% of D1 athletes report betting-related threats and harassment after games. This threatens the safety and mental health of students like Jade.
I'm a college athlete.
and I'm more than a bet. When you threaten my life and my family because you lost money, it really scares me.
These threats are not acceptable. Stop harassing college athletes over a bet. Learn more at morethanabet.org.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars, Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
Brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus.
Good afternoon. I'm Buddy Wells. We will start with top 25 scores that are all in the fourth quarter here. Number 3, Texas is rolling 31-6 at number 10, Michigan. Number 8, Penn State, they have moved ahead 34-24 over Bowling Green and Happy Valley. Arkansas and number 16, Oklahoma State, are knotted at 21-21 in Stillwater. Number 17, Kansas State, they trail at Tulane 27-20. And number 23, Georgia Tech, trails 31-20 at Syracuse. We've got a couple of games going on in the Big Ten here, and they're both blowouts. Minnesota leads Rhode Island 41-0, and Rutgers leads Akron 42-10. Of course, tonight at second-ranked Ohio State hosting Western Michigan at the Shoot. Kickoff is at 7:30. This update is sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus. Ford versus Ferrari night is Friday, September 13th at Valley Ford of Columbus. Visit valleyfordofcolumbus.com for more info. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
How do you know it's Buckeye Game Day? Because I've ripped my shirt off in celebration. Do you like the Brutus tattoo on my chest? This is the Toyota Fan Pregame Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Key Bank. Key Bank opens doors.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan.
Welcome back in. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show. I'm Matty Ice. I got Dane Sanzenbacher. I got DeVere Posey, 2 Buckeye wide receivers that did their thing in the shoe. And now we're going to take a trip down to Kings Landing and talk to the man that sits on the Iron Throne for 10 TV. His name is Adam King, AK. Week number 2 has arrived. How we feeling today, big dog?
Well, I'm feeling sad. I'm in the studio. Where are you guys? I could have come to the shoe. I thought we were doing it in the studio. The lights are out here. Bodie won't let me turn on the lights. He says we're saving energy, and I'm just sitting here all alone thinking about you guys out there by the shoe.
We miss you, man. We miss you.
King, man, this is the thing. If you're going to do this, you got to know the schedule. We're right here on Lane Avenue.
We've been here
We're
years.
basically on the bridge right now. Where are you at?
I'll be there in about 45 minutes. I was going to head that way, but then I thought I'll stay and hang out with my friends Matty Ice DeVere and, of course, Dan Sanzenbacher. Turns out they all left me alone. So now it's just me and Bodie, and I got to give him credit. The way he does his name in that update, Bodie Wells, I'm going to try to figure it out. I liked it.
It's become a thing. It's become a thing. When you hear Bodie do his update, I'm Bodie Wells. Like
Bodie
he's got
Wells.
his own, he puts his sauce on it, and I absolutely like it. AK, let's talk about week 1, 52-6. They bring home a dub. No surprise there at all. But, one thing that jumped out to Adam King last week was what?
One thing that jumped out to Adam King was how much of a gamer Will Howard looked there in the second half. I think he looked really, really poised. He certainly looked like a guy that has played college football before. Not a great start. I don't think anybody at Ohio State's going to tell you that was a great start. They didn't like it. But the biggest thing that in week 1 I wanted to see from Ohio State, I knew they had the talent everywhere. I know Will's a good quarterback. I wanted to see him go out there and look like a quarterback that could lead this team to a championship. He undoubtedly did that. There were a couple runs, not even the big run that was 18 yards. It was the one where he reached for the first down just early on in the game, and I thought that's a guy that if the game is on the line is going to do anything he can to go make a play. That is what Buckeye fans should be most excited about.
Hey, Adam, a lot of the talk, I know we were talking earlier, when you're dissecting a game against Akron, you're looking for weaknesses, and things have either pointed to, okay, O-line, or, man, they should have got the run game going a little bit more. You think that's a real issue, or you think we're just finding something to talk about?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that we have a radio program we have to fill, and it's going to be a little while before we see Ohio State face off with anybody of their caliber. Got to wait till they get out to Eugene. But I also do think there's a couple things, and Dane, you know this. As a wide receiver, you're meshing with the quarterback all off season. As an offensive line, if you're changing guys in and you don't know who the guy on your right is or the guy on your left is until you're getting ready to take the snap, it takes time to mesh with those guys. And they're not going to start off the season as one strong unit. They are, more than any other unit, the most that grows throughout the year. Obviously, they didn't have Donovan Jackson. Listen, could the run game have started better? Yes. Do you think that do you think that it's going to look like that every game, day in and day out? Probably not. If you're looking to nitpick, I think you can certainly circle that. But in reality, I think we will see a very dominant run game today.
Adam, I wanted to ask you, there was a lot of chatter about the offense and us, dissecting them. But on the other side, we had an injury with Cody Simon. And one thing that jumped off the screen to me was the play of Arvell Reese and also C.J. Hicks. Those guys made big plays. C.J. Hicks even got a sack from the linebacker position. What's the chatter about these two young backers? What are people saying about their production and what they can mean to this team athletically back there in the linebacker core?
Well, I love C.J. Hicks. I've been on the C.J. Hicks train since about 2 falls ago when he first got here. I will tell you, C.J. Hicks wants to lead this team in sacks. He is not a defensive end, but he's keeping track right now. He's a half sack behind JT Tuimoloau. And if you don't think he knows that, he's got it right on a notepad somewhere, ready to try to take the lead after this game against Western Michigan. But I think the biggest thing with this defense, and when you look at that linebacker room, it's just exciting. I mean, it's something that you look at. None of those guys had played linebacker before. On an actual field, other than a couple reps, none of them had started. None of them had been out there. Sonny, obviously. CJ got some reps last year, but they were a whole new unit, and they looked dominant. And much like the offensive line, they're only going to get better. Plus, add in Cody Simon, who's phenomenal, who is a leader. And, boy, I don't want to face this defense.
This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show. Visit Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places. Adam King from 10 TV joining us here on the pregame show. AK, I know, when you talk about young guys coming into Ohio State with a lot of buzz, sometimes it takes time, sometimes it doesn't. That was the case last week for Jeremiah Smith. Hits the ground running after so much talk about him throughout the offseason. I mean, the guy just electrified the shoe, and it seems to all of us that this is going to be the beginning of a special career for another Buckeye in that wide receiver room.
You know what I think is interesting about Jeremiah Smith is if any other freshman comes in and has 2 touchdowns in his opening game and puts on a show like that, it's unbelievable. It's stunning. You go, who is that guy? Who wears number 4? I've never heard of him. That man had so much expectation that 2 touchdowns almost felt like, wow, he lived up to it. I called it as advertised in his first game. But the good thing for him, 1, he is incredibly down to earth. He is incredibly humble. He does not care about stats. He doesn't care about any of that. He has one goal on his mind. He wants to be one of the best receivers to ever play at Ohio State. And the good news for Ohio State fans is you can't accomplish that with 1 2-touchdown game. You can't accomplish that in one season. You have to accomplish that throughout your career. If he is going to be better than DeVere Posey and Dane Sanzenbacher, it is going to take 3 of the best years we've ever seen. And I don't know if it's possible because those are the top 2 guys at Ohio State.
Such a great point. Yeah. Such a great point.
I mean, I'm just out here spitting facts.
Adam, I know that you were like in the 6th grade when me and Dane played here.
It's not true. It's not true. I was in the 7th.
So quick question. Okay, I just want to know, did you get me a media pass this week? I just need an extra one. Just think about me when you're filling out. Just get me a media pass because I just love the all access. You get field access. You get press box access. You can walk anywhere you want. And I know Adam King, as the king of Columbus media, you know all about that all access media pass. Just don't forget about the little guys.
Listen,
all right?
DeVere, one of us played in the shoe, and it certainly isn't me.
Don't forget about us.
If somebody can get around anywhere they want to go, I think it should be you, boss man, not me.
Oh, man. AK, before we let you go, hit us with your schedule and where the wonderful folks of Buckeye Nation can follow you on another game day here in Columbus.
All right. Well, tonight on Wall to Wall Sports, we're going to have a full post-game show, plus the 11 o'clock sports at 10 TV, 11 o'clock. Tune in. We'll have all the recap from Western Michigan versus Ohio State. And then remember, every Saturday morning, 9 a.m., tune in to 10 TV. You'll see Game Time with Ryan Day, the official coaches show of Ohio State Athletics.
There he goes. He sits on the Iron Throne for 10 TV. He is Adam King, AK. We will talk to you in 2 weeks since we got the early bye next week for Ohio State. I know you're going to kill it on the coverage today, man. Appreciate your time as always. There he goes.
He bounced out of here, guys. Yep.
From 10 TV. When we come back, we're going to go behind enemy lines with Joe Hartzell. He covers Western Michigan for the Western Herald. My man AR and I had the pleasure of catching up with him yesterday. You will hear a bit of that breakdown on what the Broncos are going to bring to the shoe tonight against the Buckeyes at 7:30. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
315 north and southbound still moving really well. No major delays there. A bit more of a crowd on Lane Avenue right now. A lot of traffic built up on Lane between High and Olentangy River Road. On Olentangy, you're going to see a few more brake lights between Kinnear and Lane. And over on 71 South, still some residual delays from that earlier accident. You're going to start to see things get crowded around 17th. The accident was at 11th. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
When you travel, they always say, get a room with a view. And there's no better way to travel than with family, like the Toyota Truck family. Now through September 30th, get $2,000 customer cash on a new 24 Tundra, depending on model. Or lease a Tacoma SR Double Cab for $319 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details. Or go to Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Dormar, your climate hero. Dorn, what's that guy yelling about in my noisemaker? Dormar, your climate hero.
Your climate hero, you fossil?
What's a climate hero?
That's Dormar, our same-day heating and AC company we've used for 60 years.
Who? Dormar, your climate hero.
Come on, Dad, you laugh every time you hear their tidy-whitey commercials.
Yep, those are funnier. Dormar, your climate hero.
People can't say enough amazing things about Vanscoy Hair Clinics. Men and women struggle with hair loss every day, and they completely change their lives. Vanscoy Hair Clinics is the only company in Ohio that has PRP, platelet-rich plasma, and the multi-unit hair grafting hair transplant procedure. Go to vanscoyhair.com for more info, or call 614-432-8042. Here's what some of their hair transplant clients have said.
Around 26, 27, I lost almost all of my hair on top. It changed my life in ways that I could not imagine.
My hair is going to continue growing for the rest of my life.
There is hope that you can do something about your hair loss.
Multi-unit hair grafting gives you 3 times more hair per procedure, saving you time and money. Hair transplants are more affordable than ever, and PRP is a fast, easy, and effective 45-minute treatment for thinning or damaged hair. Call Vanscoy for a free consultation, 614-432-8042, or visit vanscoyhair.com. That's 614-432-8042. Find out what procedure will restore your hair.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app, or listen at home on your smart speaker, or open up the iHeartRadio app, or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the Dopes at The Fan.
Experience a piece of history this September and pay tribute to those that have served in the Vietnam War. Delaware County Veterans Services invites you to visit the Wall That Heals from September 12th through the 15th at Havener Park in Liberty Township. Witness the official 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. The Wall That Heals is free and open to the public 24 hours a day until 2 p.m. on the 15th. For volunteering opportunities and to learn more, please visit thewallthathealsohio.com.
Integrity, honesty, and quality. Words we live by here at Monogram Homes. Hi, this is Dina, and at Monogram Homes, we strive to bring your wants to your man cave, your needs to your kitchen, and your ideas to life. Most home builders claim to be custom, but starting with stock floor plans and templates isn't our idea of a tailored experience. At Monogram Homes, we start with a blank slate and work with you until you get exactly what you want. So start your true custom home journey today with a builder you can trust. Monogram Homes. Visit us online at monogramhomes.net.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks to help grow businesses, communities, families. A legacy of capability and technology that has made Ford F-Series America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. This is the next generation of Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2023 calendar year total sales,
Hi, I'm Laura De Leon, president of Key Bank in Central Ohio. At Key, we're all about helping our neighbors. As your bank, we understand that we have both the ability and the responsibility to help our neighbors thrive. Whether they're trying to buy a car to take them to their new job, or tackle debt that feels unmanageable, or simply trying to do more with what they have, Key Bank is there to meet them in that moment. Key Bank opens doors.
All credit products are subject to credit approval. Key Bank, member FDIC.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Sunny skies this afternoon with highs near 70. Getting chilly overnight, lows near 40 with a few upper 30s possible in rural areas. On Sunday, mostly sunny with highs in the mid-70s. And then back into the low 80s on Monday with more sunshine. I'm meteorologist Mike Joyce on 97.1 The Fan.
It's game day on The Fan.
Sponsored by Reichert Ford.
Up early, stay late. Don't change the channel. You're home for the Buckeyes. The Fan. You're listening to the Toyota Fan pregame show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Key Bank. Key Bank opens doors.
Getting you ready for another Buckeye victory. The Fan, Ohio sports destination. The Fan's behind enemy lines.
Sponsored by your Central Ohio Ford dealers. Visit your local Central Ohio Ford dealer today.
All right, welcome back in. Behind enemy lines this week, we're going to catch up with Joe Hartzell. He covers Western Michigan for the Western Herald. We caught up with him yesterday on Rothman and Ice, and here's that for you now.
You had a really good game against Wisconsin, and I'm wondering whether that was just enough to keep their confidence, or did they come out of that game upset that they couldn't seal the deal? Where were they mentally coming out of that game against Wisconsin?
You know, I think this is one of those games that this is one of those teams that, unlike some of these, lower level teams, they're looking to come in and win. You saw they went out and competed with Wisconsin. Those guys left knowing they could compete at a Power 5 level. Lots of impact transfers from the Power 5 level all around, especially on the defensive line. Western brought in 4 Power 5 transfers that start on the defense now. So I think, this team is confident. They know they can at a high level. And, the Big Ten atmosphere, it's not going to be a new thing coming out of Wisconsin.
You mentioned some of those guys on the D-line. Let's stay there because a bit of the narrative here in Columbus this week has been the offensive line and those guys wanting to produce at a higher level this week. If there are going to be some names that can be disruptive in that defensive line room, who should we be looking out for tomorrow?
Interior Thompson, transfer from Iowa, played really well. I thought he had a really good spring. Another guy to look out for on the defensive line would be Popeye Williams, Louisville transfer. He's a pretty highly rated recruit coming out of high school, 4-star, and he looked really, really good all spring. I do not believe he played against Wisconsin, but that's a guy that if he's available, he'll be a big piece. There's a lot of pieces on that D-line that look really good.
Lance Taylor got his first year out of the way, first-year head coach at Western Michigan, but he's been around some mega-branded programs. Played at Bama, went to the pros with the Jets. I think he was right around the time CMC and Stanford were having their run. Goes to Notre Dame to coach running backs. Clearly, he's an offensive guy. He was the OC at Louisville. Give me a little taste on just his mindset with this offense, what he thinks he can do with it in his second year.
It's really exciting for him, I think. I got to talk to him a little bit after the spring game, and he talked to me a little bit about how this last year with the new turnaround and a whole new roster, basically, they did not really get to implement a lot of the downfield passing attack that they liked, and we didn't really see that much against Wisconsin. Kenneth Womack, top wideout, was out for that game, and I think that really hampered the passing game a little bit. I'm not sure if he'll be active for the Ohio State game, but this team, there's a really good running back, Jalen Buckley in the backfield, a nice complementary piece with Zahir Abdus-Salam, and this is a veteran offensive line. Guys like Jacob Gideon, Addison West on that offensive line. A lot of run. Western Michigan does like to run the ball, as I'm sure you saw from the Wisconsin game. It was a pretty run-heavy attack, really feeding Jalen Buckley. That's a guy who can take 25, 30 carries and be explosive with it.
Let's talk about the most important position. It looks like Hayden Wolf got, the bulk of the work last week up in Madison versus the Badgers. What style of quarterback is he, and what do we need to look out for from him?
Hayden Wolf, he's a game manager. This is a guy who's been around a long time, for 7,000 passing yards, I believe, at Old Dominion. Very, very good player. But he's more of a game manager, I'd say. He's accurate. He is not the most mobile quarterback, but he can beat you with his legs. He picks his spots pretty well. But he's one of those guys who he's not going to make a ton of mistakes. He's not going to be overwhelmed by the moment, but he might not be good enough to single-handedly win you the game.
We are visiting with Joseph Hartzell, who covers the Western Michigan football team for the Western Herald. And it's interesting because that may be exactly the kind of guy they'd want in this game. You guys went on a pretty good drive against Wisconsin. I think you had a 16-play drive in that game. Controlling the ball is certainly going to be big time in this game to at least try to hang in there. He also burned one of his trick plays, didn't he? He faked a field goal. So he burned it once, means he probably could do it again if he sees an opportunity here against Ohio State.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty good coaching call. I believe it was pointed out to me by some Wisconsin fans on Twitter, maybe some Wisconsin reporters. Wisconsin basically runs the same field goal coverage almost every single time, and Western was able to exploit that. It was a good call. Got the kicker Palmer Domschke out there on the outside to run down. And Western will probably need a trick play or two to hang in this game with Ohio State. Obviously, Ohio State talent all across the board. You got NFL draft picks, guys like JT Tuimoloau on the defensive line. I apologize if I butchered that. But, it's a well-coached team, very disciplined. And I don't think Lance Taylor is scared to reach into a bag of trick plays to stay in a game.
One Buckeye that really broke out last week was Jeremiah Smith. And as you know, Ohio State has a ton of playmakers. When you look at, the back end of the defense for the Broncos, who could be some guys that may create some issues in that secondary going up against a really good group of wide receivers?
Yeah, that's going to be the challenge for Western Michigan. Last week against Wisconsin, I believe Western did not give up a play over 20 yards, and that's going to be big. And that's going to rely on guys like Bilal Cohn on the outside. He's the Western Michigan top returning corner. He, I believe, was all MAC. I apologize, I'm twisting up my words a little bit, but he's a very experienced player, pretty athletic, got decent size on the outside, and he's probably going to be matched up with Ohio State's wide receiver one, whether it's Egbuka or Jeremiah Smith.
So, Joseph, what's the mindset here? They were, I believe, almost a 24-point dog to Wisconsin and took them all the way into the fourth quarter and probably felt they could have or should have won the game. They're now a 38-point dog here at the Horseshoe. Has that been a narrative being tossed around that certainly Vegas doesn't think they'll be in this one?
Yeah, it's pretty normal, I feel like, at this point for a lot of MAC schools. These guys are used to it. A lot of them are used to being underdogs. They're in the MAC for a reason. They're underdogs their whole career. So these guys know they can compete, though. They know they went out and competed with Wisconsin. They're not looking to just come in and roll over and collect a check for the program. So these guys know they can compete. They know they could do it last week. I'm sure a lot of them feel like that game was a very winnable game. And so I think that there's a little bit of a level of excitement to this game almost to, get a chance to prove what they can do.
All right, my man, good job. Appreciate you setting the table for us. Enjoy the Horseshoe at night. It should be electric. And Western Mich will get a taste of what that 100,000 plus is like here on Saturday night. Thanks. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
There he goes. Behind Enemy Lines for this week, Joe Hartzell covers Western Michigan for the Western Herald. Behind Enemy Lines is sponsored by your Central Ohio Ford dealers. Visit your local Central Ohio Ford dealer today. When we come back, it's Who's Got the Heat. We will apply some heat, a.k.a. pressure, to a team, player, coach, somebody around the college football world after the break. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show right here on The Fan.
Fan Traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
The roadways are still moving nicely. 315 north and southbound, right around the campus area. Those Lane Avenue and Ackerman Road exits moving without problems. The highway with the problem is 71 south, an earlier accident near 11th causing a backup. So if that's part of your travel, be aware of it. We also have a parking update. The Ag Campus and Fawcett Center day of game parking lots are full now. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
Why choose the Hinderer Motor Company? We don't just sell vehicles, we build relationships. This is Justin Hinderer. With 4 top-tier dealerships and a state-of-the-art collision center, we're here for you every step of the way. From our exclusive Carvenience service that handles everything from pickup to delivery, to our 24/7 towing and roadside assistance, we make your life easier. And every vehicle purchase comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty because we believe in what we sell. Experience the difference and visit HindererMotorCompany.com. We love what moves you.
Hey friends, Brandon Beam here for Truehold. Home values in the city, well, they're sky high. We know that. You have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market is peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's the right time. Except for 2 things. High interest rates are going to burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Pretty smart, right? Truehold is going to make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others, and it's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, secure your retirement, and do whatever you want with it. It's your cash. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. Again, that's Truehold.com.
Your local Rite Aid might be closing, but don't worry. It's easy to transfer your prescriptions with GoodRx. First, check prices at GoodRx.com or on our app. Then show your coupon to the pharmacist. It's that simple. GoodRx can save you up to 80% on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, GoodRx is free, and it works whether you have insurance or not. Download the app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Common Man and T-Bone are known for many things. And while great radio ain't one of them, shoving food down their gullets is their specialty. Join Man and Bone for Fat Boy Food Tip.
Live at 3 or on the podcast.
Your home for fat. The Fan.
People can't say enough amazing things about Vanscoy Hair Clinics. Men and women struggle with hair loss every day, and they completely change their lives. Vanscoy Hair Clinics is the only company in Ohio that has PRP, platelet-rich plasma, and the multi-unit hair grafting hair transplant procedure. Go to vanscoyhair.com for more info, or call 614-432-8042. Here's what some of their hair transplant clients have said.
Around 26, 27, I lost almost all of my hair on top. It changed my life in ways that I could not imagine.
My hair is going to continue growing for the rest of my life.
There is hope that you can do something about your hair loss.
Multi-unit hair grafting gives you 3 times more hair per procedure, saving you time and money. Hair transplants are more affordable than ever, and PRP is a fast, easy, and effective 45-minute treatment for thinning or damaged hair. Call Vanscoy for a free consultation, 614-432-8042, or visit vanscoyhair.com. That's 614-432-8042. Find out what procedure will restore your hair.
It's time for huge summer savings at Honda Marysville. Now through September 14th, get 0% for 60 on any new SUV or truck with a trade. And don't forget our $39 oil change special, where we'll get you in and out in an hour, or it's on us. It really is the perfect time to get to Honda Marysville, where great summer savings are closer than you think.
0% with approved credit, plus finance 80% of MSRP. Offer available with 2010 or newer trade with KBB appraisal of $2,500 or more. Must take delivery from dealer stock 9/4 to 9/14/24.
No. First down! Yes!
Oh, what? Just cleared that drain last week.
Well, clearly that didn't work. Would you please just call the waterworks?
At the Waterworks, we mean clean. We'll get your drains good as new on the first down. And as for him, well, there's always the Buckeyes. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results.
The This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
Brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus.
Good afternoon. I'm Buddy Wells. Top 25 scores, starting with games that have gone final here in the last half hour or so. Number 8, Penn State survives at home as they beat Bowling Green 34-27. Syracuse upsets number 23, Georgia Tech 31-28. And number 3, Texas, they just beat number 10, Michigan in Ann Arbor 31-12. Couple games that are late in the fourth quarter that are very close. A wild one in Stillwater has Arkansas and number 16, Oklahoma State tied at 28-28. The Cowboys are in field goal range, though, there. And number 17, Kansas State has taken a 34-27 lead on the road against Tulane. We had a pair of blowouts in the Big Ten just a bit ago here. Minnesota, they whipped Rhode Island 48-0, and Rutgers hammered Akron 49-17. Of course, tonight at second-ranked Ohio State hosting Western Michigan. Kickoff is at 7:30. This one is sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus. Ford versus Ferrari night is Friday, September 13th at Valley Ford of Columbus. Visit valleyfordofcolumbus.com for more info.
This is the Toyota Fan Pregame Show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Key Bank. Key Bank opens doors.
Your flagship home for Buckeye football, the Fan Ohio sports destination. As you prepare for another Buckeye football Saturday, one very important question remains. Who's got the heat?
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Let Logan Services bring the heat to your home this season. Free same-day estimates, next-day installation. Logan Services.
All right, welcome back in. Matty Ice, Scott Dane Sanzenbacher, DeVere Posey, 2 former Buckeye wide receivers in the house today, getting you ready for Ohio State and Western Michigan kickoff at 7:30 at the Shoe. Depot, you know how we do this. Who's got the heat? You're applying some pressure, putting some heat on a coach, player, somebody from around the college football landscape. Who we cooking with today, my man?
I'm going to go out to Nebraska, and I'm going to put that heat on the Boulder boys. I'm going to put it on Dion and company. Shadur Sanders, those guys, they edged out Nebraska last year, right? At home, they got to beat them. Matt Rule, first year, right? Dion's first year. He talks about this coaching, his class, right? You know, like sources, Excel, freshman rap
absolutely.
class. Dion is talking in terms of, Matt Rule got a head coaching job his first year, the same year that he did, and he's 1-0 versus him. And I know Matt Rule knows that too. And Matt Rule has a gunslinger now. He has Dylan Raiola. And I just think you put the Sanders family under pressure because, hey, he has to go coach on the road in a hectic environment. Shador has to outperform Dylan Raiola for them to win. I just think Nebraska has an opportunity to really beat this team at home, and they're showing 6.5 favorites right now.
I'm too excited for this game.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
I'm too excited for this game because, when you look at both sides of this, and as far as a program-defining moment for both,
yes,
it's almost equal, right? Because if you are Nebraska, this really cranks things up with Matt Rule in year 2. If you're Colorado, this kind of calms a little bit of the can you win the big game noise that's out there for them. That place is going to be rocking tonight. I mean, that fan base is one of the best in the Big Ten in the country, and so it's going to be electrifying, and you highlighted it well with the star power at quarterback on both sides. That place is going to be jumping, and I'll absolutely be locked in to that. Dane, who you got this week, man?
If they weren't number 3 preseason coming into the year, I don't think it would be that big a deal, but Oregon has to be feeling heat.
Oh, yeah.
After underperforming in week 1, they had the Idaho Vandals, only won by 10 points, so 24-14 to a team that's expected to be the new running, gunning, one of the top dogs in the Big Ten. So I think you've got to be...
Depot's not a believer. In case you didn't hear that, that was DeVere. He is not a believer.
Clearly, but they have to be feeling like, okay, we have to show something this week. They've got Boise State. They've got your boy
Ashton Genty.
I'm
telling you.
So I mean, that's a tough one where you've got to show up. You can't have 2 duds in a row. You've got to be feeling some heat if you're Oregon.
I think that's a great call. I was looking back at some of the stuff that happened last week against, FCS Idaho coming into their house. And a lot of the noise coming out of that game for Oregon was they weren't moving those guys off the ball, talking Oregon's offensive line. And so Idaho left last week's game, and they racked up 3 sacks in that game. And you look back at last year, Oregon gave up 5 sacks all year.
Oh, wow.
And so that's something to monitor is maybe this offensive line in front of Dylan Gabriel, They're not about that life.
They're not.
And kind of pushing on that, like, what's the knock on Oregon? It's just like, can you play with the big boys in the Big Ten?
Yep.
Are you too flat? How's your old line, D line, hold up? It's trying to twist in the knife a little bit there.
100%. It's going to be fun to watch for sure.
I love it.
To see
There's
it.
something about Danny Lanning I don't like.
Well,
I don't know why. I just don't like him.
I can see how he can maybe irk some people.
He irks me.
You know, he had his chest out last year.
Oh, yeah.
He had his chest out last year, and last year was a good year for them. But, you know, he's got to hit the ground running and do a lot more. So, yeah, I cannot wait to see if Boise State can, you know, put a scare into Oregon again tonight. I'm putting the heat on a team that's about to kick off right now in a rivalry game.
Who you got?
I'm going with Iowa's offense. And because here's the reason why. Last week, you showed your fan base 40 points on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
I mean, 40 points for Iowa is it's like 100 points.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous.
They've been acting different lately.
And so I don't think you can have a massive fall from grace offensively in week 2. I'm not saying you got to put up 40 in this game. You guys know better than I do. Rivalry games can always get sticky and weird and all those things.
Yeah.
But I do think just based off of that narrative, following them for years and years and years, when you have that showcase right out of the gate, you got to at least be in the mid-20s, maybe even early 30s moving forward in the coming weeks. And so I'm going to put some heat on Cade McNamara and Iowa's offense. We know the former Buckeye great Jim Lachey, his son Luke Lachey, is an absolute dude at tight end.
Yes, he is.
So he's going to be making a bunch of plays. But this week, they probably already are on the field. It was a 3:30 kickoff. I'm going with Iowa's offense. Who's Got the Heat is sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Let Logan Services bring the heat to your home this season. Free same-day estimates, next-day installation, Logan Services. One of the new faces for Ohio State that wasn't a player that was added to the party this offseason was Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly was up in the booth last week as the new OC. And let's hear from Chip Kelly right here on Will's versatility.
If you had watched him watched him at K-State, I think you could see that, you know, he obviously can make plays with both his arm and his legs. I think he showed some of that on Saturday, but those are things we were aware of before we actually played on Saturday, that I think he's a versatile guy. You know, I've talked about it before. He can really move for a big guy. And he has a really good understanding of football. You know, he's got a lot of experience, and I think that kind of shown through for him. He still needs to get experience in what we're doing, and that's part of the process. You know, playing the game of quarterback is probably the one position that's so totally different from a practice standpoint to a game standpoint, because no matter where you are, whether it's in the NFL or high school or in college, you don't get hit in practice. You know, and in a game you do. So it's a different kind of mindset for him. But I think we saw some of the things he can do, and hopefully we can build upon that going into week 2.
You know, Dane, Depot and I, he's done some shows with me throughout the week this summer, and we talked a lot about Chip Kelly. I haven't got to pick your brain on the Chip Kelly addition and what he's going to mean, in your opinion, for this offense moving forward here.
I didn't get to watch him much when he was at UCLA, to be honest. So I didn't really know what we were going to get. I know the narrative on him was, you know, likes to run the ball, run first. What I liked about week 1, watching how, you know, Chip approached even calling the game, I think it's clear that this is going to be an exciting offense. And I think he's obviously great at it. There's a great mix of trying to get the run going, but I think it's like his emphasis on run doesn't mean we're going to run all the time. Yeah. I think that's like the disconnect. Because I saw him, he was throwing on first down. It's just that he knows he always wants to get back to the run and have it be a strength of the offense. Mm-hmm. He made some really good points about Will, too, and I think he kind of used the same Ryan Day terminology when talking about Will. You know, Ryan Day said he was stealing yards, and Chip Kelly said moves well for a big guy. So it's like
that's the undertone.
You know what I mean? And it's not a knock. It's just saying like it's okay. This is another thing that he has, but it's not like we got to run him every game. Yes, he's going to get hit, but we want him to play within our offense. And he said it's a great point too of saying it's week 1. It's there's so much for a quarterback to get comfortable with when the actual bullets are flying.
No doubt. What do you think, Depot?
No, I just think, you know, historically what people don't realize about Chip Kelly, like, out of all the teams he's coached, I think besides Deshaun Jackson, he hasn't had, like, multiple 1,000-yard receivers. Like, he's a run-first coach. Like, even when we played him, like, they were a strong running team. They had LeGarrette Blount, LaMicah James, Kenyon Barner. Like, they were scary on the ground. And I think Chip Kelly, like Dana's saying, like, he's always going to keep that rhythm there. And the thing about being here with Ohio State and all the pieces he has and, how the game has grown and you can do the jet sweeps and find these little forward pitches and different creative ways, I really, in my heart of hearts, believe that Chip Kelly went out there and was like, I'm not going past install 3 to beat these guys. Like, I'm not pulling out, like, some stuff that somebody can game plan for. Like, we're going to execute base stuff, and we're going to win like that. Yeah. And I just think that was what his mindset was.
So essentially what you're saying is I'm going to host a cocktail hour, right? But I'm not giving you the top shelf just yet.
Not yet.
And we're not going to the
we're
top shelf
full off our
just yet. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We can get full off the charcuterie board right here, and everybody's going to go home happy. You guys are so right, though, to bring up the run game. I mean, last 2 years over in the Pac-12, UCLA, they led that conference in rushing yards. So that's what he wants to do. But you guys brought this up earlier as well when you talk about, we were talking about Will and going from the playmakers he had at Kansas State to Ohio State. Same could be said for Chip Kelly, right? The dudes in the wide receiver room at UCLA are not the guys here at Ohio State. So obviously there's levels to it. So finding that balance is going to be key. And good offense has always seemed to follow Chip Kelly, and that's not going to be, I think, any different here for the Ohio State Buckeyes in 2024 and beyond. Coming up next, East to West, we'll go around the Big Ten, hit you with some of the scores that are already done, some of the games that are rolling, and then the schedule going into the night. And then we will finish with our final thoughts on Ohio State going into Week 2. This is the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show right here on The Fan.
Fan Traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
As you approach Ohio Stadium, you'll find the highways looking good, 315 north and southbound at least. No problems or delays to report. Over on 71 South, if that's part of your game day commute, you will want to know that on 71 South at 11th, an earlier accident is still causing some residual delays. You'll start to see brake lights right around 17th. And for parking, the Ag Campus and Fawcett Center Day of Game parking lots are both now full. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
When you travel, they always say, get a room with a view. And there's no better way to travel than the roomy new Toyota Camry. It's all hybrid all the time, so you can take your travels even farther. Now through September 30th, you can lease a Camry LE for $299 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing with approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Book your room now. Toyota. Let's go places.
Integrity, honesty, and quality. Words we live by here at Monogram Homes. Hi, this is Dina. And at Monogram Homes, we strive to bring your wants to your man cave, your needs to your kitchen, and your ideas to life. Most home builders claim to be custom, but starting with stock floor plans and templates isn't our idea of a tailored experience. At Monogram Homes, we start with a blank slate and work with you until you get exactly what you want. So start your true custom home journey today with a builder you can trust. Monogram Homes. Visit us online at monogramhomes.net.
And what is it called?
A ceiling fan.
And where is it?
It's on the floor.
And why is that a problem?
Well, see, the person who named it probably should have called it a floor. No, that's not right. The guy on TV I saw put up a ceiling fan.
Are you a TV star, Paul?
No, I'm not.
Are you an electrician, Paul?
I am not.
You are?
I am a middle management accountant, and I shouldn't be putting up ceiling fans.
You should.
Call the pros who knows.
Apex Pros.
The pros who know electrical work, too. Hi, it's Alex from Apex Pros, and if you'd like us for plumbing, cooling, and heating, you're gonna love our pro electricians.
Apex Pros are on the way.
Much easier, isn't it?
I'm glad we sorted this out.
Me too.
Columbus loves the pros who knows. Schedule with one click at apexpros.com.
If you're obsessed with fantasy sports and gambling things, we have the slightly above average radio show for you. On the Money with Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas.
Presented by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
Sunday morning at 9 on The Fan.
This September, Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is back, stronger than ever. Diamonds Direct helps you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. That's right, enjoy 5 years of 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's your chance to get her the perfect ring with 0 interest and comfortable monthly payments that fit your budget. But act fast. This offer ends September 30th. For details and more, visit DiamondsDirect.com. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with 0 experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Oh no, this storm really did a number on my roof.
You need to get that fixed before it gets worse.
I know, but finding a good roofing company is like finding a needle in a haystack.
Actually, there's only one good roofing company you need to know. Nitro Roofing. Family owned, specializing in residential roofing, and they finish the job quickly without cutting corners.
Wow, sounds like they're the real deal.
Absolutely. Call Nitro Roofing today. Use code TheFan10 for 10% off. Call 614-714-5693 or visit nitroroofing.com.
This week, find hot deals in one stop at Meijer. Shop select bulk apples for $1.49 per pound. Fresh from Meijer family pack chicken thighs for $1.29 per pound. And select General Mills cereal for $1.99. Plus, earn M-Perks points every time you shop for groceries, apparel, and at the pump. You even earn points at the Meijer Pharmacy. So schedule your flu shot today. Available now. Meijer has all you need in just one stop. And the same low Meijer prices in-store and online. Exclusions apply. See all deals in-store or in the Meijer app.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Can you smell it? Buckeye football is in the air. You're listening to the Toyota Fan pregame show.
Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And presented by Key Bank. Key Bank opens doors.
Your home for the Buckeyes. The Fan. It's the Fan's east to west.
All right, welcome back into the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show. Matty Ice, Dane Sanzenbacher, DeVere Posey, 2 former Buckeye wide receivers. Been rocking out with me today, getting you ready for Ohio State taking on Western Michigan. 7:30 kick. Looks like that game will be on the Big Ten Network tonight. A couple games, fellas, that have kicked off in the 3:30 window. Iowa, Iowa State, Michigan State, Maryland, Eastern Michigan, and Washington. No points on the board yet in those games. Wisconsin has an early 7-0 lead on South Dakota. Some of the games that are already put to bed: Rutgers beat Akron 49-17. Minnesota beat Rhode Island 48-0. Penn State beat Bowling Green at home 34-27. That game had my attention before I left the house because Bowling Green was making them sweat early and often in that game. But Penn State gets off to a 2-0 start after beating West Virginia last week. And then the big one that everybody woke up excited about this morning was Texas going into the Big House taking on Michigan, number 3 taking on number 10, and Quinn Ewers and company went in there and just handled business. 31-12 was the final in that one there. And so Michigan searching for answers on offense. With Davis Warren at quarterback, they've sprinkled in Orji here and there, but that's going to be something to monitor. And so now, their defense obviously is not going to feel great about that performance because that was supposed to be their calling card, right, with the guys that they had. But Quinn Ewers and company, we know, are elite. But Michigan takes it on the chin today, fellas, at home by one of the best squads in the country.
Yeah, it's great to see that Quinn Ewers was taught well during his time at Ohio State. You always hate Michigan. And he went up there and put it on those guys. And Jen, she was saying it was a little scrap at the end of the game. And it's good to see Michigan. They still are who they are. They're just low vibrating people sometimes.
I think a lot of people would agree with you on that, too, D-Ball. A lot of people would agree with you on that. Some games that are coming up tonight. Obviously, Ohio State, they will take on Western Michigan at 7:30. Kansas, they come up to Illinois. That'll be a 7 o'clock kick. The big one that we talked about earlier, Colorado takes on Nebraska. That game's going to be on NBC and Peacock. Oregon and Boise State at 10. Utah, USC at 11. So those new brands that are now in the conference, it's still taking a while to get used to the scheduling and those late night games. It's just crazy, right? With USC, UCLA, and Oregon. So there's your Big Ten slate for the week. Oh, I forgot. There's 18 teams now in this conference. So this takes a little bit of time. Last night, Indiana 77-3 against Western Illinois, and then Duke beat Northwestern 26-20. So before we get out of here, let's go back to some Buckeye talk. We talked about it earlier. Another one of those games to where Vegas is saying Ohio State is favored right between 35 to 40 points. But Dane, hit us with one thing that you'll really be looking for tonight when they kick this thing off.
I think it might be tough for them to get to that kind of point total. Just if you're basing it on how the last week's game against Wisconsin went. It seemed like Western, they wanted to almost take the air out of the ball a little bit. Yeah. I listened to a little bit of Coach Fickle's post-game, and that's what he was saying. He was like, it felt like a boring game because their game plan going is, we're going to get 3 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards, and first down. Like 16 play drives. Yeah. It's hard to put up a lot of points like that. It is. So it's going to take Ohio State at least popping a couple big plays to kind of take advantage, because I don't think they're going to have the ball for all that long.
To your point, we saw it last week where Akron, they weren't snapping that ball till there was 7 seconds, 5 seconds on the clock. So I think that's a good call, and that's probably going to be the game plan a lot, right, is to try to limit the at-bats for Ohio State. Depot, what are you looking for tonight, man?
Yeah, I'm looking for our defense to really have a big game. I want to be able to hear us say Caleb Downs' name a few times. I want to see those linebackers get after it. And like Dane saying, that is exactly what Western Michigan's plan was to have these extended drives, really have Wisconsin feel under pressure like, hey, I got to score fast. And so if Western Michigan comes here and tries that same game plan, which I'm pretty sure they will, they're playing against another big school in another big stadium, they're going to just try and execute that again. I expect our team to get early 3 and outs, right, and be able to get that hidden yardage with special teams. But at the end of the day, we didn't cover last week, but I do think we covered this week.
I think we covered this week. You mentioned defense. We don't know if we're going to see Cody Simon. I know there was a report from Pete Thamel today that he and Donovan Jackson are available, so we still don't know if they're going to play. You guys tell me if I'm wrong in this. I think because of the opponent, obviously they're going to say they respect him, but they know in the back of their minds they should come out of this thing with a dub. You got a bye week next week.
That's what I was going to say. Right? With the bye week, let's just relax.
And maybe keep those guys on ice for another week. But the reports coming out this morning are that those guys are available, so we shall see. And I promise that the guy I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to talk about him just because he went to my high school. But I think Jack Sawyer, he's been cooking here recently. And I'm talking about the very back end of last season, those final 2 to 3 games.
The Missouri game
he played big. And you really felt his presence last week, too. And I know that's something that defensive line room has talked about all off season, was wanting to be dominant, right? And not just have those games to where you're making moments here or there, but just consistently creating a lot of static down there in the trenches. So not only Jack, but JT, Tylik, that whole crew up front, I want to see those guys have, really impactful moments in this game, because I've been excited this offseason just thinking about pairing what could be a very, very good defensive line with a very good secondary. And if they can disrupt games and the timing of offenses, I just think that can pair together so well. So that's what I want to see amongst a bunch of other things, but just the dudes down in the trenches, Larry Johnson's gang up front, continuing to get better and better each week.
Yeah, I would think you definitely want to see building on that. Similar to your take on, you want to see Iowa back up their great performance on offense. You'd like to see a lot of the same from our defense. And I'll have it known and stated, Jack was in my One Tough Animal finalist.
Shout out to Pick North, baby.
And it was because when I watched that game, I mean, he was in Akron quarterback's Ben Finley's chest.
Yeah.
It seemed like every play.
Yeah.
And obviously that poor kid got beat up, but it was always number 33 running down and putting him on his back. So, I mean, he had a heck of a game, and you want to see that's the dominance you want to see of that defensive line, to pair that with your DBs. Just keep on doing that. Don't give us anything to talk about next week. I
agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I saw a clip of JT Tuimoloau at the Skull session. He said, we want to change the narrative. We're known as the most talented team, but we want to be known as the most violent team. And I'll be honest, I'll take a 15-yard penalty on a play like Igbinosa, a play like Ransom, when you're making a statement hit, like that part of the game is what me and Dane grew up in. Like, people could make statement hits.
Tone setters.
Yeah. And if this defense has a bit of that in them, I'm okay with a penalty every game. Let's establish that physicality
I like that.
and say, hey, we're going to be nasty and we're going to be violent.
I like a little nastiness, especially, too, when you get it from, the offensive line, just driving guys down in the dirt maybe a little bit longer than what they should. I'm here for all of that. I'm absolutely here for all of that. I've been here for this journey today with you guys, fellas. This has been fun. Dane, appreciate you, man, and looking forward to doing this in the weeks to come with Depot. This will be an absolute great time. We're going to hand this thing over now to my main man, Anthony Rothman, Andy Katzenmoyer, and Tim May, and they will continue to get you ready for Ohio State's Week 2 matchup against Western Michigan. This has been the Central Ohio Toyota Dealers Fan Pregame Show right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
Overall, looking really good. No accidents, major slowdowns, or problems to report right now. On the surface streets, you're going to see a little bit more of a crowd as folks are trying to find parking spots. The West Campus lots are a good bet right now, and that means that we do have some increased traffic around Kenny Road and Lane Avenue. Otherwise, looking good. And speaking of parking, a reminder, the Ag Campus and Fawcett Center Day of Game parking lots are now both full. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
A system for every home and every budget with Logan Services 55th anniversary sale. Replace your air conditioner and save up to 55% on a qualifying Trane furnace. And take action with financing. 0% APR financing for 72 months. It's hard to stop a Trane. Estimates are free and next day installation is available now. So schedule your appointment online. We're the home of fast, friendly service, Logan Services.
Hey fans, it's Bobby Carpenter here for QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine that helps restore aching joints. So if you're tired of arthritic pain in your knees, hips, back, or shoulders, it's time to finally get relief, improve your mobility, and get back to doing the things you love with QC Kinetics. No pain, no meds, no surgery, no downtime. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation with my friend Dr. Ray Tesner. They have locations in Dublin or Gahanna. Call 380-208-4544 or go to qckinetics.com/Columbus.
At Kroger Pharmacy, CARE is making it easy to get vaccinated. CARE is helping you stay protected from flu, COVID, and RSV. Seasonal vaccines are available 7 days a week with evening hours. CARE is giving you a shot at staying healthy this season. Walk in whenever is best and get multiple vaccines in one visit at your local Kroger Pharmacy. So come and get the protection you need while protecting those around you. Kroger Health, a world of care is in store. Visit Kroger.com/vaccines for more. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See site for details.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Ford versus Ferrari. The ultimate showdown is coming to Valley Ford of Columbus. Experience the thrill of Ford GTs and Ferraris for your up-close viewing at the Ultimate Car Show this Friday, September 13th from 6 to 9 p.m. Everyone's invited to check out these iconic machines and enjoy live music and food trucks. Show off your special car, too. All makes and models are welcome, and you can register them at the show or online at valleyfordofcolumbus.com. The official dealership of Carnell Tate and T-Bone, Valley Ford of Columbus.
Taking out the trash. That's what we're all about at Bourne Brothers Waste Services. This is Justin Bourne,
Zach Bourne, and Jacoby Bourne, former Ohio State football players.
We are your company for all of your trash and recycling needs.
Providing services that include front-load containers, mini and large roll-offs, and compactors. Contact us today for the best service in town. Bourne Brothers.
Bourne Brothers.
The real local trash company.
Taking out the trash.
Meet Abdullah Mahmood, problem gambling counselor at Maryhaven.
More and more people are falling into problem gambling. It can happen so quickly that you don't realize it until you face a crisis. Gambling issues often connect to depression, anxiety, or other addictions. Maryhaven's experts offer comprehensive care. You and your loved ones can count on mental, emotional, and financial guidance.
Confidential and judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
For generations, hardworking people have relied on Ford F-Series trucks to help grow businesses, communities, families. A legacy of capability and technology that has made Ford F-Series America's best-selling trucks 47 years straight. This is the next generation of Built Ford Tough. Based on 1977 to 2023 calendar year total sales. Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
Brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus.
Good afternoon. I'm Buddy Wells. Starting with some final scores from earlier today. Number 3, Texas rules number 10, Michigan in Ann Arbor, 31-12. Number 8, Penn State hangs on to beat Bowling Green, 34-27. Number 17, Kansas State wins 34-27 at Tulane, and Syracuse upsets number 23, Georgia Tech, 31-28. Right now in Stillwater, number 16, Oklahoma State and Arkansas are in double overtime. Top 25 scores in progress right now. Number 1, Georgia leads Tennessee Tech 31-0 in the third quarter. And some games in the first quarter. Northern Illinois is at number 5, Notre Dame. They're tied at 7-7. Baylor's at number 11, Utah. The Utes lead it there 7-0. And Iowa State is at number 21, Iowa. That game is scoreless. Tonight at second-ranked Ohio State hosting Western Michigan at 7:30. This one's brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus. Ford versus Ferrari night is Friday, September 13th at Valley Ford of Columbus. Visit valleyfordofcolumbus.com for more info.
Oh, hi. Don't mind us. We're just sitting here talking football, waiting for the Buckeye game to start. Oh, did you want to join us? All right, then. This is the Curtis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Curtis & Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT.
Live outside of St. John Arena, here's Tim May, the Big Cat, Andy Katzenmoyer, and Anthony Rothman.
All right, welcome back in week 2 of Buckeye football. Buckeye Nation, good to see you. Awesome night atmosphere tonight for week 2 for your second-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. I'm Anthony Rothman. We say hello to you on YouTube as well. Buckeye Nation, my man Tim May, veteran beat reporter, and, of course, the Big Cat, Andy Katzenmoyer, the former All-American linebacker. Gentlemen, good to see you.
Hey, how you doing?
We're feeling good.
Glad to be here, man. Enjoy it.
Absolutely. You got to cherish these Buckeye football games. They're a big favorite once again tonight. Before we look forward, we'll look back. I think everyone, certainly you get the nitpicking in week 1, but it's Buckeye football. That's what we do. There was a lot of good. I think this identity that they're unfortunately falling into of these slow starts is not just a one-week thing. This has kind of been something they have had hanging around them for the past year. In the big picture, it may not mean anything, Andy, but I know it's a cliche to throw around, but all week I've heard from Buckeye fans saying, man, I hope they get off to a faster start this week. What is the key to that, and why can't they do it to their liking?
Well, I think it's obviously they have a load of talent, but you have a new offensive coordinator who's come in. There's some familiarity because of what Ryan Day understands and has, but Coach Kelly has his own style of calling plays, and he has to learn who he has as players, and he doesn't want to show everything from the start. So I think that really, and then there's also all the guys that's transferred in. It's going to take. Usually, offense takes more time to gel as far as the timing and getting in a better cadence, where defense doesn't.
7 new starters for Ohio State in week 1. A total of 14 Buckeyes played in their first ever collegiate game. And I think maybe I'm probably, let's not, overanalyze it. You had a drop pass and a penalty, and there's your possession,
Bingo.
right? And now you're punting it away. The defense could have changed a little momentum there. They gave up a field goal and eventually got going there, Tim. But give me your little assessment. Certainly the result of the game is something Ryan Day and the rest of the coaching staff probably said, this almost worked out perfectly.
Yeah, number one, when your defense scores, the equivalent of 2 touchdowns, 14 points, which is enough to win the game all by itself, that's a pretty darn good day to begin with. Number 2, Jeremiah Smith, who goes on to be one of the players of the game, when he drops that little screen that was set up perfectly. It was a great call by Chip Kelly. You're just kind of going, as the ball's coming out of Will Howard's hand, I'm just going, wow, this is a perfect call for the moment, because when you look downfield, there was nobody. And, of course, the ball goes off Jeremiah Smith's hands, and that just kind of discombobulated everybody. I was just talking with a Big Cat here before the thing started.
really, I thought defensively, the play that kind of turned the game a little bit more back toward Ohio State from a momentum standpoint was that sack by C.J. Hicks when he came up the middle, ran through a guy, and got a sack. And I'm trying to remember precisely when that was in the game, but I just felt a little bit of a momentum shift there. But when you still win 52 to whatever it was, 6,
yeah,
you know, it's like an auto race. You know, you may be trailing the first half of the race, but, man, when you take command the second half of the race and run away with it, I thought the third quarter, they ran 11 plays offensively, Ohio State did, 135 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's pretty efficient. And then, of course, they had the scoop and score, or whatever you want to call it, the by Lathan Ransom. I'm not sure that ball ever hit the ground, but anyway, that was a pretty good start to the second half.
It's a great play by Caden Curry coming back after he got in the backfield and causing that hit. And
Hero Canoe grabbing the guy the first time.
Yeah, I think it was.
Those are all backup players making a play.
Pretty underrated defensive play there by Ohio State. The other part I wanted to ask Andy about is, you know, something interesting. You know, when you are so overmatched against your opponent's so overmatched against you. I'm not saying that Davison Igbinosun wanted to get, you know, judged for targeting or anything like that, but the shot that he gave that quarterback, you're almost willing to take that 15 yards. Not that he did it intentionally, but the result of it got Akron all, okay, now they got to go to a backup quarterback. Starter leaves the game. Now the backup was pretty good. He was mobile. They threw screens with him. In a way, before he fumbled, you could almost say he was going to be more effective. I didn't know that, but from a defensive standpoint, you're almost willing. You never want to lose a player because targeting is a big deal.
Right.
But you get that shot, you take the 15 yards, and it affected the whole mentality of the game for Akron because they were bouncing their quarterbacks early.
Right. Well, it just comes into, you know, throw off a little bit of timing, and obviously he was a starter for a reason. But I think Akron really, I mean, they responded okay, and coaches adjusted, and the players did as well.
But you like the aggressiveness?
But so for me, I'd rather have a player be more aggressive, especially in an early game. I mean, it's never good to have a penalty, but you can always have a player dial back, but you can never have a player, you know, play harder. Like, you know, you can't have them turn it on.
Yeah, you don't want to be stupid aggressive, though, right? I mean,
right.
You don't want.
And I don't think it was.
Right.
He just made an aggressive play.
Exactly.
It was, you know, they didn't mesh well.
Right.
How
hard is that?
Huh?
How hard is that for a defensive player? You don't know when the quarterback's going to time the slide, right? How do you play it?
It would be harder. Well, I don't think it's that hard because they coach up players to be able to throttle down and kind of read and adjust.
Keep your head up.
Right, keep your head up, do all that stuff. Back when I played, very hard. It would have been very hard.
Well, I thought it'd be easy because if they saw you coming, they'd slide a lot sooner. They may not time it as much with you coming.
They would make it more definitive. They're actually going to
somebody get Corby Jones on the phone.
Right.
Somebody get Corby Jones on the phone. Bottom line is it turns out to be, like you said, an aggressive play. The thing you don't want to see in an aggressive play is a guy doing something blatantly against the rules, and he didn't, which is dropping your helmet, you know, and trying to get for one of another term, an old term, a kill shot, so to speak.
Right.
He didn't do that. And, aggression gets everybody going, I do believe. You know, I truly believe Akron intended to play both of those quarterbacks because they wanted to keep Ohio State's defense, if they could, a little bit off rhythm, off kilter a little bit by running the running quarterback and having the passing quarterback. And that kind of threw them off their rhythm from the standpoint of what they wanted to do. But I don't think the game was ever really in doubt that Ohio State's defense was going to come through. I think you agree with me on that, don't you?
100%.
And Denzel Burke's interception, that was big. I asked him after the game, and he kind of didn't hear me to begin with. I said, at Michigan last year, that would have been ruled a completion. You remember him and Roman Wilson there at the goal line and stuff. But the bottom line is, I like the way the defense played from the get-go, especially when you consider Sonny Styles not only was making his first start at middle linebacker or Mike linebacker, at linebacker, but at Mike linebacker, where he had maybe practiced a little bit the last several weeks. But I thought he acquitted himself pretty well. But, the guy that they had that was going to be calling not just playing middle linebacker, Mike linebacker, but but calling the plays, because he had the green dot on his helmet was Cody Simon, and of course he didn't play, didn't start the game, didn't play, and Sonny Styles was thrust in there, not just with playing the mic, but having the green dot on his helmet, which means he was getting the play calls is whenever they came in defensively, and I thought he played pretty well. What'd you think, man? You played the position,
right? I thought he played well. It's hard to really assess considering how overmatched Akron was.
Yeah.
We'll probably get a better test today, but Akron really never put up a substantial fight, as far as, and really challenged Ohio State.
Yeah, they had like 3 or 4 plays that really helped them on their 2 field goal situations, and that was about it. And I think when you walk away from there defensively with 3 takeaways, that's a pretty good day, no matter where you're playing. And I forgot how many sacks Ohio State had, but
they had 5.
Those were 2 emphasis.
Yeah.
Those were 2 points of emphasis coming into this season. More takeaways, more sacks, and inferior opponent, but they made them look that way, at least offensively.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that it's interesting because the encore tonight for Will Howard is going to be like, okay, does he level up again? But I almost feel like, and we'll ask Paul Keels about this, the strategy of tonight's game may be, okay, before a bye week's coming next week, can they get this running game going tonight and really lean into it? Because Will Howard was great, Jeremiah Smith was great, and so now you're looking at maybe you can get that complementary offensive football. It's going to be a tough night to dress. I'm not going to lie to you, fans. It's absolutely beautiful right now, so I see people in shorts and all that, short sleeve. So 65 at kickoff's comfortable. If you're staying all the way through the game, it'll probably be mid-50s by the time we get into the late 10 o'clock hour tonight. Wind's about 9 miles an hour right now. It picks up and then kind of goes away. But the sun is here. No precip tonight. So your kickoff forecast is sponsored by Byers Auto. Come see why it's better to buy from Byers. Looks absolutely beautiful. Fall football tonight. When we come back, the voice of the Buckeyes checks in with us. Will we have Cody Simon and Donovan Jackson? We'll ask him next, right here on the Kurgis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
Things are getting a little bit busier out there. 315 north and southbound have seen an increase in traffic around the Ackerman and Lane Avenue exits for sure. Once you're off that highway, Ackerman Road around 315, Olentangy River Road between Kinnear and Lane, also Kenny Road around Lane Avenue. Seeing a lot of volume right now. A reminder, if you're looking for parking, the Ag Campus and Fawcett Center day of game parking lots are now both full. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
First down! Oh, what? Just cleared that drain last week.
Well, clearly that didn't work. Would you please just call the waterworks?
At the Waterworks, we mean clean. We'll get your drains good as new on the first down. And as for him, well, there's always the Buckeyes. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results.
When you travel, they always say, get a room with a view. And there's no better way to travel than in a roomy new Toyota, like the best-selling RAV4. Now through September 30th, get 4.99 APR financing on a new gas-powered 2024 RAV4. Or lease a RAV4 LE for $339 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details. Or go to Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
1 in 3 student athletes gets disturbing messages from sports bettors. This threatens the safety and mental health of college athletes like Tyler.
I'm a student and an athlete. I don't deserve to be threatened over my play. If you're upset about your sports bet, don't take it out on me, because I'm more than a bet.
These threats are not acceptable. Stop harassing college athletes over a bet. Learn more at morethanabet.org.
Football season is here, and so is tailgating season. Are you ready? If not, let Columbus Car Audio and Accessories help you get the latest and best accessories for your ride. Upgrade your sound system so everyone around can hear what team you're rooting for. Add mobile video and never miss a game on the road. Add style and privacy with window tint, and avoid scraping ice this winter by adding a remote starter. Choose Columbus Car Audio and Accessories when it comes to customizing your ride. Morse Road near Easton, Main Street in Reynoldsburg, or columbuscaraudio.com.
The Fan app is about to become your new best friend. Your one-stop shop for all your favorite Fan shows. ESPN Columbus and BetQL. Live or on demand, listen on your schedule. Download the 97.1 The Fan app today. It's free. Do it.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Kurgis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Kurgis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
Bobcat Enterprises is your family-owned partner for landscaping and construction projects since 1975. Find great deals on our full line of Bobcat equipment, including a 36-month, 2,000-hour full warranty on Bobcat compact track loaders and skid steers. And right now, get financing as low as 0% for 48 months on select equipment. Build local. Stop by Bobcat Enterprises in Hilliard, Reynoldsburg, or Zanesville to find current specials, or see our full line of products at bobcatent.com today.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Ford versus Ferrari. The ultimate showdown is coming to Valley Ford of Columbus. Experience the thrill of Ford GTs and Ferraris for your up-close viewing at the Ultimate Car Show this Friday, September 13th from 6 to 9 p.m. Everyone's invited to check out these iconic machines and enjoy live music and food trucks. Show off your special car, too. All makes and models are welcome, and you can register them at the show or online at valleyfordofcolumbus.com. The official dealership of Carnell Tate and T-Bone, Valley Ford of Columbus.
Tailgating this weekend? Schmitz Catering has you covered. Schmitz will cater your neighborhood party or company tailgate and handle all the heavy lifting. They can even grill for you at your location. Schmitz is the perfect way to celebrate this football season with their delicious Bahama Mamas, sausages, cream puffs, and more. Let Schmitz bring their house to yours. Check out their full catering menu at schmidthaus.com. Why tailgate when you can Schmidtgate?
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Sunny skies this afternoon with highs near 70. Getting chilly overnight, lows near 40 with a few upper 30s possible in rural areas. On Sunday, mostly sunny with highs in the mid-70s. And then back into the low 80s on Monday with more sunshine. I'm meteorologist Mike Joyce on 97.1 The Fan.
It's game day on The Fan.
Sponsored by Reichert Ford.
Have fun. Keep your pads on. Go Bucks. Always and forever your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan. This is the Kurgis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Kurgis & Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT.
If you're listening to the Buckeyes, you're listening to us. Your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan. It's time for the Big Daddy Report with the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
Sponsored by The Waterworks, plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
All right, he'll be the man on the mic for the call tonight at 7:30, Ohio State versus Western Mich. And he is the one and only Paul Keels. Good to see you, my man.
You know what kind of pressure this is when you have relatives sitting in the audience?
It's huge, isn't it? Huge.
Absolutely.
Make sure you mention them, too.
Absolutely.
Hey, I like how he mentioned them without mentioning them. That was pretty good.
That was good, yeah.
Dr. Keels.
Hey, he's a pro for a reason.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, we are excited to have you, and I'm sure they are, too, to watch their guy up here. Let me ask you about this offense that you witnessed last week. No Donovan Jackson last week. We hear he could go, may go, might go. If he does, that would lend itself to this offensive line that was, again, inconsistent from the start.
I would think so, Anthony, but also the fact that so many other people played in the long run would be beneficial to this offense as well. And because of what you guys have talked about, too, with what they went through in the summer with the illness and different people not being available at times. So you just hope it's all steps forward to everybody really bringing their performance up to a higher level.
Excellent. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you about the defense. I felt the defense last week, they had 5 sacks, 10 tackle for loss, 2 INTs. But I felt as a whole, no matter who was in there, there was 11 guys always flying to the ball.
And Andy,
trying to make a play.
I think that was the key to it. It wasn't just one person. It wasn't, a particular linebacker, a particular defensive lineman racking up big stats. it was everybody. I mean, you saw C.J. Hicks at times getting in there, influencing things. You saw those defensive linemen like they normally do, and it's been really interesting. I'm sure it has been for you, being a former linebacker, to watch Cody Simon and his development coming from safety, and then all of a sudden, in short notice, he's the guy that's calling the plays on the defense. That was a great sign to see that it was an all-out effort from that defense, making plays all over the field.
Absolutely.
I'm going to ask you a homework question. How do you pronounce Malik? Is it Dudon?
Dudon.
Hey, you've done your homework.
Dudon.
Are you going to bring Jim Lachey along on that?
I'm sure Jim's got it nailed too.
Hey, when you look at this team, you do your homework on opponents and stuff. What strikes you about Western Michigan that gives them any kind of shot? In my opinion, it's their aggressive nature on defense. I mean, they're going to come in throwing fastballs as much as they can because that's really their only shot.
Well, the fact that they kept Wisconsin from any plays longer than 20 yards.
Right.
Now, is Wisconsin an offense that always wows you with a lot of things? Generally, no, unless it's big runs that their backs break.
They're trying to, though. They're trying to get there.
But the fact that they held Wisconsin without big plays is something that, if you're Western Michigan, that's something you can build on. And keep in mind, too, they played most of that game without their starting middle linebacker. Yeah. He was tossed out for targeting. So,
right.
And they also played without their best wide receiver in that game, too. That's why Dudon was playing so much.
Yeah.
All right, Paul Keel's with us, voice of the Buckeyes. We get you ready for Ohio State and Western Michigan. So we're looking for an encore, right, from Jeremiah Smith. Freshman phenom was absolutely huge, 6 for 92 with a couple of scores. What was cool is that, he was so involved in that first series, and in a negative way, right, the drop and then the motion penalty, and he checked every box, I think, last week, which was great for him, a young player.
Well, Anthony, I think the interesting thing will be now that people were aware of him. Now they're really aware of him with one game. But what's that doing creating opportunities for other guys, whether it's Emeka Egbuka, whether it's Jalen Ballard, Brandon Innes, Carnell Tate, maybe the tight ends who didn't get a ball caught last Saturday. So, Jeremiah Smith's going to draw attention. We saw late in the game they were doubling him at a certain point in time. But, the kid certainly looks like he's got something special, which is amazing for a true freshman. But also, the size he brings out there at the receiver spot, that's something that's going to be an asset.
Absolutely. Actually, what impressed me about it was he had 2 negative plays. They were put on, but he was able to respond.
Absolutely.
And the future, so he kind of has amnesia then, which is fantastic. What do you want to see this week from Ohio State?
It's funny you say that, Andy, because they always talk about that with cornerbacks and defensive backs, selective amnesia, but he had it. Would love to see some more explosive runs. We didn't, and I thought when Travion Henderson was out there Saturday, there was a certain electricity when he carried the ball. Yeah. Didn't break anything loose, but there was just something a little different about the way he was carrying it. Like see he and Quinshawn get an opportunity to maybe get a few more chances at breaking something big. Love to see the tight ends catch a ball or two, but would also continue to love to see the defense put pressure on the quarterback. And that'll be interesting to see if Western Michigan does what Akron tried to do and get the ball out fast.
Yeah.
I asked Ryan Day
You ask questions at those press conferences?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I try to lump them together.
They should make him go first.
Yeah, exactly.
No one else. Never mind.
Actually, you don't want to do that.
Right. No one else.
It might not ever end.
Right.
I worked with a guy one time who said, I asked his question for him one time, and I go, you came to an Urban Meyer press conference with one question. Are you kidding me?
Well, because his answers were so damn short, he had to have multiple questions.
But, exactly. But, you got a million, right? You know what I'm talking about, Paul. But bottom line is it's when you I asked Ryan, I said, when you looked out there, did Will Howard look like, that quarterback? Did he look like he was in command? Like, the field general kind of guy you want to see out there. And I think second half he had that presence about him. He has started games before at Kansas State. He's won a championship, and I'm just wondering from your vantage point, did it look like that to you, that a veteran was kind of running things, especially as the game went on?
Absolutely. He didn't have to do too much. He didn't have to be too risky, other than the one play that has been referenced where he threw the ball backwards. But no question, he certainly did. He looked like he'd been out there. He looked like it was not too big for him. He wasn't wowed by it, and that's kind of what he's been asked to do.
Yeah. Have you been surprised over the last year about, they've only had a double-digit lead twice after the first quarter of games. I think it was Purdue and Michigan State. I know it's kind of a generic question to ask you about getting off to a fast start, but it feels like to me that's going to be a priority today.
You would, and it always is, Anthony. But that was something that everybody really talked about after last week, and there's maybe a few reasons for that. You don't have preseason games in college football, so there's going to be the need to get a little traction in week one. The transfer portal certainly has helped teams that maybe never had a chance to compete in a game, especially in their first quarter. I think that's given some clubs an opportunity, and probably what helped Western Michigan last week at Wisconsin. Maybe to a certain extent it helped Akron a little bit, but there has been, I think there's always that false hope that the game's going to be over by halftime. And sometimes it is, and oftentimes it's not. I think it's probably more surprising when it happens against Big Ten teams like it did last year against Michigan State. So we're not in the 70s and the 80s where you have those games that, you can start putting the AYOs, the all you others in the third quarter.
Yeah, it's interesting because there were so few plays last week for Ohio State. They only ran 11 plays in the third quarter. That's crazy,
Well, running the ball will do that.
Right. Well, yeah, but also scoring like they did. They got it done. And, of course, Lathan Ransom's fumble return was in the middle of all that.
With defensive touchdowns.
Yeah, so you didn't get the opportunities and stuff, but they made the most of it and stuff. But that's kind of what football is evolving to right now, especially with the helmet radios and stuff. I think teams are going to take longer to run plays for them, even Ohio State, and possessions are going to be almost at a premium.
I wonder if it is, though. I wonder if it is, only because you've seen how Ryan Day, kind of following off of his predecessor, how at times he loves to throw that up-tempo thing in there just to keep teams off balance. So, that's one of those things at the end of the season. It'd be interesting to look back and see that. But they've known ever since the change of the first down clock rule that there were going to be fewer plays, and they've had to work around it.
But I'm talking about Akron's idea was they were going to run the clock down to 5 seconds last week.
I got you.
And then you're going to see the same thing tonight from Western Michigan had the lead on Wisconsin
in
last
the fourth
week.
Quarter.
Going into the fourth quarter, and the ball bounces off a guy on a punt game, and it turned everything around. But the bottom line is, Western Michigan had 260 yards total offense or whatever in that game. They didn't light it up, but they maintained possession and at least made it a one-possession game for a long time.
They certainly did.
Yeah.
All right, we'll let you head over to the shoe.
Gentlemen, pleasure as always.
Appreciate the stop by.
All right.
The voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels, and that was sponsored by the Waterworks Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. When we come back, it's He's So Money. Who will shine tonight? We'll make our predictions. Game day coverage is sponsored by Reichert Ford on the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
Some slow conditions in spots out there as people are trying to get to their tailgates and their parking spots. Lane Avenue, very slow right now from Olentangy River Road to North High Street. Speaking of parking spots, the Ag Campus and Fawcett Center day of game parking lots are now both full. As you drive closer to the stadium, be aware the Skull Session doors are about to open at St. John, as well as Fan Fest on the St. John lawn. Keep an eye out for increased pedestrian traffic in that area. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on the Fan.
At Byers Auto, we've been football fans since 1897, back when tailgates had actual tails. Our legacy of supporting our local team is as strong as our commitment to providing exceptional vehicles. While we're known for our new cars, we also offer a variety of pre-owned vehicles that meet our rigorous standards. Our friendly staff is here to help you find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and budget. Visit us in person or shop online at buyersauto.com. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
Atlas Butler is built to keep you comfortable, and our plumbing services are no exception. You can rely on Atlas Butler for trusted, convenient plumbing and drain service. Our expert plumbers and drain specialists can take care of anything, from a broken water heater to a clogged drain. Call today, get it fixed today. That's our pledge to you.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Integrity, honesty, and quality. Words we live by here at Monogram Homes. Hi, this is Dina. And at Monogram Homes, we strive to bring your wants to your man cave, your needs to your kitchen, and your ideas to life. Most home builders claim to be custom, but starting with stock floor plans and templates isn't our idea of a tailored experience. At Monogram Homes, we start with a blank slate and work with you until you get exactly what you want. So start your true custom home journey today with a builder you can trust. Monogram Homes. Visit us online at monogramhomes.net.
At KeyBank, we know a small moment like,
what's it like to have a yard?
Can lead to an even bigger question like,
am I ready to buy a home?
And that's the type of moment where we'll meet you, prepared to talk about everything you need to know when applying for a mortgage, so you can try to turn those backyard dreams into reality. Paul?
Yes?
Question. Are you a hammock person?
You know, I think I might be.
For every financial need, we'll meet you in the moment. KeyBank opens doors. NMLS 399797, Equal Housing Lender.
Morning Juice.
Have you ever had sports canceled for excessive heat? It was like 85 Monday. 85, they canceled a bunch of the sports because it was, quote, too hot.
Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Affinity Whole Health.
Weekday mornings at 6. The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman here for Germain Honda of Dublin. So what's the difference? There are other Honda dealers around. Well, Rich Newsom and his team want to earn your trust. They don't expect it, and they earn it by giving you a great price, and then they back it up after the sale. With same-day service, no appointment necessary, a great variety of brand new Hondas, and hundreds of pre-owned certified Hondas to choose from, all at the same location. Identify yours at GermainHondaofDublin.com. Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
Taking out the trash. That's what we're all about at Bourne Brothers Waste Services. This is Justin Bourne, Zach Bourne, and Jacoby Bourne, former Ohio State football players. We are your company for all of your trash and recycling needs, providing services that include front-load containers, mini and large roll-offs, and compactors. Contact us today for the best service in town. Bourne Brothers, the real local trash company. Taking out the trash.
Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. Growing up in the family business, I've seen firsthand the joy and love that comes with finding the perfect engagement ring. For over 77 years, our family's been dedicated to providing the best quality, unmatched selection, and the guaranteed best price. From timeless classics to custom designs, we have the perfect ring for every love story. Let our family help you celebrate the moments that mean the most. Visit Diamond Cellar today on Sawmill Road or at Easton Town Center.
Experience a piece of history this September and pay tribute to those that have served in the Vietnam War. Delaware County Veterans Services invites you to visit the Wall That Heals from September 12th through the 15th at Havener Park in Liberty Township. Witness the official 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. The Wall That Heals is free and open to the public 24 hours a day until 2 p.m. on the 15th. For volunteering opportunities and to learn more, please visit thewallthathealsohio.com.
This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
Brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus.
Good afternoon. I'm Buddy Wells. One final score from just a bit ago. Number 16, Oklahoma State rallies to beat Arkansas 39-31 in double overtime. Some top 25 scores in progress right now. Number 1, Georgia leads Tennessee Tech 45-0 as they head to the fourth quarter. In some games that are still in the first half for top 25 teams, Northern Illinois leads 13-7 at number 5 Notre Dame. Number 11, Utah leads Baylor at home 17-0. Iowa State is at number 21 Iowa. The Hawkeyes lead that game 10-0. And number 22 Louisville leads at home against Jacksonville State 21-7. Tonight it's second-ranked Ohio State at home as they host Western Michigan at the Shoe. Kickoff is at 7:30. This update is sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus. Ford versus Ferrari night is Friday, September 13th at Valley Ford of Columbus. Visit valleyfordofcolumbus.com for more info. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hello, I like football. I have nothing clever to say. This is the Curtis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Curtis and Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HEARD. That's 614-GOT-HEARD.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio's sports destination. He's so money.
Sponsored by Kemba Financial Credit Union.
All right, Ohio State got their first gift of the day, and that was Texas going into Ann Arbor and taking apart Michigan at the seams. They're hoping for the second gift tonight, which would be their team knocking off Western Michigan going into their bye week, their early bye week. Anthony Rothman, Andy Katzenmoyer, Tim May with you here down on campus. Beautiful night for football. We talk about the He's So Money. I just feel like prioritizing this run game into the bye week might be something that's on their schedule. It doesn't mean they won't be able to have the same amount of highlights, but you go back, Western Michigan ran it for 120 yards against Wisconsin, not a boatload of yardage, but 3.6 per. Quinshon Judkins led Ohio State in carries last week, but he didn't have the most yards. That went to Travion Henderson, who had that big 21-yarder, and he had the 9-yarder right out of the gate. I feel like those guys, the thunder and lightning tonight might be a big priority. Maybe Quinshawn gets into the end zone again, or maybe Travion does. But I'm pointing to that running game, Andy, tonight. I think if Donovan plays, and even if he doesn't, I just feel like that's going to be a big part of what they want to do tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, Chip Kelly's always wanted to run the ball. He kind of was the innovator as far as, taking the spread offense and then speeding it up and to really, so he can, dictate how he runs the ball. So absolutely, I mean, that's been Chip Kelly's, MO since he was.
And the reason I bring it up is maybe because of not the lack of running game, but not the explosiveness we thought we'd have last week. I think that's why I'm leaning into the priority.
No, absolutely. But I think Chip Kelly knows, like, it may come with time. You just got to keep on giving guys the ball in the right situation. And honestly, both these backs will make a play.
A little bit of a feast or famine situation for them running the ball tonight, though, to begin with, because like I pointed out, Western Michigan likes to blitz, man. They bring them from all kinds of angles, all kinds of ways. You may gash them because of that tonight.
Exactly.
I mean, there's going to be opportunities for that, but also, be opportunities for maybe some negative or zero, neutral yardage. Let's put it that way and stuff. But I agree. I mean, it is a priority. That's one of the main. Obviously, Ryan Day and Chip Kelly have known each other forever, but one of the priorities was get the running game more stronger, where you can run the ball anytime you want to run the ball. That's why he was going to hire Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly wanted to look at the pros first. That's why he hired Bill O'Brien. You saw what Bill O'Brien and their running game did to Florida State last week at Boston College.
Right.
I mean, they wanted to get that straight. I thought they ran the ball pretty well last week after they kind of got going and got some rhythm to them. I mean, seeing James Peoples get into the end zone was a really cool thing too, to see the freshman running back. But when Will Howard gets a little more comfortable just flat running this offense, which means he will run some too, a little bit more impromptu than maybe he did last week, I think you could really see the running game take off.
One other note that I want to say is it may show up in the stats as a pass, but a screen in Chip Kelly's offense is an extension of the run game.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And the 4 second-half touchdowns obviously made everybody feel pretty good. But you go back to the first half, it was 87 yards on 18 carries, and it was good. That's what you can say. It was good. It wasn't explosive. And
just
I think
under 5 yards a carry.
Yeah, they don't want to sit for 2 weeks, though, on maybe that question. And maybe it's a bigger question for us and the fans than it is for them. But I do think that that's going to be a priority tonight. He's So Money, sponsored by Kemba Financial Credit Union here on The Fan. By the way, the alumni band just strutted through here. That was the alumni band.
In case you didn't hear that.
Yes.
I think it was the drums of the alumni band. If that's the alumni band, there's been a lot of problems in the last year.
Well, they're going Quad Script, Ohio tonight.
Exactly.
Oh, my favorite.
I don't think they can all. Maybe they can. I don't think they can all fit in a skull session, which is a problem. That's a lot of people.
We're adding a couple hundred more that just came through here. And It was an awesome sight to see and obviously listen to. So the Cody Simon, Donovan Jackson, you and I, the three of us discussed it a little bit, and I think Andy's kind of in the, hey, if they can go, they should probably go. They got a bye week coming. You could look at it both ways, right? With the bye week on the back end, you might be able to say, well, if they're not all right, protect them for another week. Then they get 2 weeks more to get right. But where do you stand on if you can go, you should go, or do you protect them from themselves? And I'm not playing doctor here. Maybe they're very close.
Right. I like you hinted upon, there's nothing like getting some live game action. You can't really simulate that in practice. The speed's not the same, the intensity's not the same, all that stuff. So if they can get out there and get some reps and get there out in the shoe and just kind of go through the motions and come out healthy, then they absolutely should.
Yeah, and I think getting Austin Serville that start last week was a big deal for Austin Serville and the offensive line
for sure.
Depth situation. They also played, a couple of guys at right guard. I mean, Tigger Chabot, I thought played pretty well for the most part. Carson Hinsman played pretty well for the most part, and so getting those guys real live reps when the game's really on the line and stuff, I think was huge for the offensive line. Ryan Day made a good point too, though, because somebody was kind of asking, well, with Austin making his first start, there's going to be some mistakes, and Ryan said, no, when you start a game for Ohio State at any position, you're expected to play like a starter, and I know, like you just pointed out earlier, they're going to be butterflies no matter who you are. They're butterflies for veterans when they get out there. But I think Austin Centerville played pretty well as the game went on, and that's huge for them. And being at linebacker, like we said, Sonny Styles not only got his first start at linebacker, but it was at Mike linebacker. He'd been practicing at will most of the preseason camp. And then you move C.J. Hicks up into the will spot there to start. So a lot of chairs moved there with Cody Simon not able to go, which I think pays off for them because James Laurinaitis wants all of his guys to be able to be interchangeable, Mike or Will.
Right.
But until you see it and do it in a real game, and then to see Gabe Powers get that that tip pass and take it in the house off of Edric Houston, who is, I'm telling you, he's going to be in the running. I know Jeremiah Smith, et cetera, but I think Edric Houston is a huge upside as a freshman on this defense, and one of those guys they got at the last minute on the first signing day, just like with Jeremiah Smith. But those are all huge plays in games to get guys really going and get them some experience and getting feel good about it.
Right.
Arvell Reese, we talked about last week, and
left him out.
He was chasing down dudes, and and then I do think tonight is a fun night, Andy, and it probably would be a fun night for you too because Western Michigan brings in a 210, 215 pound running back. I mentioned that I think they're gonna try to be physical up front if they can against this Ohio State team. It should be a nice little challenge for the linebackers.
Oh yeah, we'll find out how that front 6-7 will fare against other teams in the future that have more talent, considering how Western Michigan wants to play the game.
And that kid was he was a 1,000-yard rusher, I think, last year.
Jalen Buckley.
Yeah. And I think he 63, 65 yards against Wisconsin. So, they're going to try to, if they can, they're going to try to hold the ball, run the clock, and make it as a manageable a game as they can.
As competitive as they can, yeah.
Exactly. This game is going to, just like last week, big plays are what flip those games around, and that'll be the case tonight. I'm sure Ohio State will look for a home run of some sort, either in the running game or passing game early, just to get things going. And like I said, they had it right there last week and dropped it.
Absolutely. No doubt.
I mean, really, they did.
They did. It was there. It was like anybody,
Yeah.
Eyes off it.
Jeremiah Smith will tell you that.
Absolutely. When we come back, we'll talk to the former All-American Jim Lachey, get his feeling on this offensive line and what we've been talking about so far during the show, prioritizing this run game tonight. This is the Kurgis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show. Remember, they don't get paid unless you get paid right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
On northbound 315, starting at about the medical center exit and all the way up to Lane Avenue, you're going to see a lot of brake lights. That's northbound 315. Just be ready for it to slow right down. Nothing surprising at this time on a game day. Olentangy River Road is very slow right now from King Avenue all the way up to Ackerman. And if you're trying to drive on Lane Avenue, anywhere between Olentangy River Road and High Street, be ready for that to take a while. Very crowded and slow going. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
We're dealing at Reichert Ford. That means we got the car you need at the price you want. But don't take it from me. Hear it from
Buckeye running back, Travion Henderson.
Riker has what I'm looking for.
Defensive star, Jack Sawyer.
Grew up watching these guys on TV. My family's bought tons of cars for them. With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car.
$2,500 low price guarantee.
Thousands of vehicles are waiting. ReichertFord.com.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
It's time for huge summer savings at Honda Marysville.
Now through September 14th, get 0% for 60 on any new SUV or truck with a trade. And don't forget our $39 oil change special, where we'll get you in and out in an hour or it's on us.
It really is the perfect time to get to Honda Marysville, where great summer savings are closer than you think.
0% with approved credit, plus finance 80% of MSRP. Offer available with 2010 or newer trade with KBB appraisal of $2,500 or more. Must take delivery from dealer stock 9/4 to 9/14/24.
This September, Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is back, stronger than ever. Diamonds Direct helps you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. That's right, enjoy 5 years of 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's your chance to get her the perfect ring with 0 interest and comfortable monthly payments that fit your budget. But act fast. This offer ends September 30th. For details and more, visit DiamondsDirect.com. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Dormar, your climate hero.
Dorn, what's that guy yelling about in my noisemaker?
Dormar, your climate hero.
Your climate hero, you fossil?
What's a climate hero?
That's Dormar, our same-day heating and AC company we've used for 60 years.
Who?
Dormar, your climate hero.
Come on, Dad, you laugh every time you hear their tidy-whitey commercials.
Yep, those are funnier.
Dormar, your climate hero.
The Buckeye Show.
What were you guys yelling on the Braxpin play, 2015?
Well, everybody said, he's back. He's back. That's what everybody was saying.
The Buckeye Show.
Presented by Coors Light and sponsored by CareSource.
Weeknights at 6 on The Fan.
When you travel, they always say, get a room with a view. And there's no better way to travel than in a roomy new Toyota. Like the family-size Highlander with room for up to 8. Now through September 30th, you can lease a Highlander XLE all-wheel drive for $489 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Bobby Carpenter here for my good friends at Ohio Mulch. Ready to give your landscaping a boost? Right now, get topsoil for $19.99 a cubic yard or grab 20 bags for $20. From rich, natural mulches to nutrient-packed soils, stop into any of Ohio Mulch's convenient locations and see what all the excitement is about. Visit in-store or online at ohiomulch.com.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply, greener, better.
Get Eco.
ECO. It's hot everywhere.
I was thinking about that, Jerry. Remember when you invented the bagel button for toasters?
Sure. Toasty where you want it toasty, cool where you want it cool. The perfect bagel.
I think air conditioning should be like that. Keep the toasty heat outside and keep your family cool inside. If your house is toasty, we can make it cool the same day you call.
Get Eco.
ECO. I like it, Aaron. But if only you had a button.
A button?
See, the genius of the bagel button experience is the button. Push the button, and everything is taken care of.
Get Eco.
ECO. GetEco.com has 2 buttons. One button to book online, and another button to talk to a real-life person. Either way, your cool house is happening today.
2 buttons. Genius.
I thought you'd like that.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Cosby Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Rothman wakes up every morning next to a bottle of gin and says, today's a good day for a Buckeye victory. Well, today he happens to be right. You're listening to the Curtis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Curtis & Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. It's time to check in with Buckeye color analyst and president of the Large Hand Society, Jim Lachey.
Sponsored by Schmitz. Why tailgate when you can Schmidtgate?
All right, back at it. Tim, remember as Paul Newman said in The Sting, always drink gin with a mark. You can't tell whether you cut it or not.
Yes, exactly.
So I've followed that advice my entire life. Our man up in the shoe with a bird's eye view will be Jim Lachey, the former All-American, and he joins us now. Jim, good to have you as usual.
Good afternoon, fellas. I'm doing great. How about you?
Great. We've prioritized the Ohio State run game tonight in our show so far. Give me your feel on what you saw last week, whether you're anticipating Donovan Jackson, what that could mean with the Fitz tonight, and just give me your analysis of the run game last week and what you expect tonight.
Well, I thought it picked up as the game went. Certainly early on, when I looked down and Quinshon Junkins had 4 carries for 4 yards, and most of those were between the tackles. That's not good. We had to, get some things worked out, and I think in the second half we did. Now, how did they do it? They probably less huddling, a little bit more tempo, and then they got outside. and started making some plays. Will Howard picked up 19. He had a long run. Travion Henderson, picked up along the 21. Quinshon Junkins, had one for 13. So they had to get some, big plays, but they just weren't getting them between the tackles. That's something you got to work on. And again, Akron kind of crowded the box a little bit and took that away. But I want to see a little bit more consistency like you do. I mean, if you're averaging 5.2 yards per carry, that's not all bad. You want to average at least 4 yards per carry, because if you do that 3 times theory, you can pick up a first down each time you run it. So 5.2, that's above average, but they kind of probably want to get a little bit more of that, some big plays down, the explosive plays in that rushing game. And, I think it's kind of a work in progress. Now, I thought Austin Saravelt, did a pretty good job. Now, he didn't grade out a winning performance, but overall he had a good performance. Josh Simmons, Seth McLaughlin, Tegra, for his first start, I thought he banged away inside and got better as the game went on. That's always good to see. Josh Fryer out there. I thought getting that second level is something we got to do a little bit better job of. The old theory is if you can get the defense, or you get the running back to the defensive tackle's heels, they get a chance to make an explosive play because he can put a move on somebody and make something down the field. So all in all, not too bad, but I think everybody wants to see improvement. That's what Coach Day talked about this week. In all areas, they want to see improvement. So in the running game, you want to see these guys go out there and explode a little bit more, make some plays.
What was your take quickly on, early on, they had it inside the Akron 30. It was 3rd and 7, and they ran the ball. Is that because maybe they're in 4-down territory and they want to pick up some there? Because then turned out they only got 2 yards. They were in a 4th and 5, and that play blew up a little bit, and then turnover on downs, and they had to look to the defense. But your take on that idea, the 3rd and 7 inside the 30, and you're running the ball.
Well, you got confidence, you think you can make some big plays, with it, and you gotta run or pass. You want to see if you can find a way to pick it up. They thought they could get something maybe in that running game, or something maybe they saw early on, looking at those tablets between plays, that they thought, hey, let's go ahead and dial up a run here and see if we can, make some guys miss and move some guys off the line of scrimmage and pick it off. I don't disregard with the call. I think when you look at it overall, we had 33 runs and 31 passes. So, Chip Day had 64 plays. He's almost 50-50 in the run pass. And I think that's something that I don't know if he wanted to lean on the first game, be 50-50 or not, but it ended up working out that way, when he was calling the play. So, just one of those opportunities, see if he can get something in that running game, and it just didn't quite work out for him.
Yeah, so, sometimes those numbers just work out. Like you said, you don't necessarily go into it, it's going to be 50-50. You'd like for at the end of the year to be 50-50, because that means you're really getting some balance. But, Jim, I want to ask you, as you analyze this game, I know you've watched Western Michigan tape and things like that. Where do you see Ohio State having an advantage tonight on the offensive side of the ball?
Well, I
don't
think,
say across the board. At least give Western Michigan a little bit of credit. Go ahead.
No, I agree. If you look at that game last week against Wisconsin, it was 14-13. They had the lead, and then, Wisconsin punted, and the ball ended up going off one of their receivers or one of their returners or one of their defenders back there. Wisconsin, laid on it and then was able to put it in the end zone, went for the 2-point conversion, was able to get that to get up 21-14, and then, put on another touchdown to end up winning the game. So I think this front for them is pretty good. Corey Walker, number 93, is legit. He's 6'5", 270. Ontario Thompson inside at 6'3", 293. Most of these guys have played some football before, so I think that they feel like they're strong there. Now, they lost their top backer, Jake Wahlberg, to a targeting call, but the guys that came in for him, Dominic Moon, a transfer out of Purdue, ended up playing pretty well. Boone Bonema ended up with 9 tackles in that ball game. They really like the kid out of Garfield Heights, Ohio, Minnesota transfer, Donald Willis, number 15. He had 10 tackles. I think their strength is their front 7. So maybe attack something in that passing game, see if they can make some plays down in that part of the game. Kone, number 1, he's a pretty good defensive back, has good size at 6'2", 190. So but we have good size at receiver too, with Jeremiah Smith being 6'3", 215. So I think, you match up well. You just want to be clean with whatever you're doing out there.
Absolutely. Hey, Jim, how you doing? Andy Katzenmoyer.
Hey, Andy.
How you doing, buddy? So Chip Kelly's offensive style has always been, spread them out, run the ball, try to, find mismatches. But he really wants to have an explosive running back, get the ball in their hands, whether it's a catch, the screen pass, run, whatnot, and then really have, the pass game play off that. How long do you think it'll take for Ohio State and their scheme right now to adapt to the Chip Kelly offense?
I think, whenever you have a new coordinator come in, you get a chance to go through spring ball with him, which they did, summer camp. So they should be pretty, and he should have a good idea of what they do well. And that's the thing, too. You got to kind of accommodate, what play-wise, and then find out what you have skill-wise, and then kind of mesh those things together. And I think first game, a little bit as a work in progress, just 404 yards. You say that, and that's still a pretty good afternoon. But, when you're used to seeing 500-some yards, with Urban and Ryan Day calling the plays, the expectations here are high. Urban always talked about 250 rush, 250 pass, but that was the time when they stopped the clock a little bit more and you got about 80 plays in a game. Right now they're averaging about 64 plays per game. That's what they did last year, and so be it. The first game they ended up with 64 plays. So I think you got to take advantage of the situations you're in, and it just puts more emphasis on third down conversions, things like that, short yardage, and 9 of 14 last week in third down was pretty good. 0 for 1 on fourth down. You want to make sure if you're going to go for it for fourth, give him. He's got confidence in you guys to go out there and move the chains, and we end up getting stopped on that. So. I think Chip understands what he has. I think Ryan, he said he maybe overturned or, overruled, so to speak, maybe 1 or 2 calls that Chip had. So, out of 60 of them, he thought those are pretty good calls, and let's go with it. So I think those two guys working together with this offense, you'll see a little bit more improvement, and that's what you want to see going into game 2. The old adage, you get so much better between week 1 and week 2. Why is that? Well, everybody gets those first game jitters out of your belt, You go out there the first game, you got a crowded stadium, some first-time starters on that offensive line. When you look at Donovan Jackson not playing, Saravelt in there, and Integra getting his first start. Seth McLaughlin, coming from Alabama, but still his first start, Will Howard. So now that's all underneath them. They understand what they got to do, and I'd expect them to go out and have a better performance today.
Great stuff. Thanks, my man. Have a great call tonight, Jim. We appreciate it.
All right, no problem. Let's talk to you guys soon.
You got it. Jim Lachey segment sponsored by Schmidt's Sausage House. Why tailgate when you can Schmidt-gate? All right, a certain unit is off to an awesome start for Ohio State. Will they keep it up? We will discuss next on the Kurgis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
Traffic's picking up on 315, both in the north and southbound directions. Kind of slow on the northbound side from 670 all the way up to Lane Avenue. Southbound, you're going to start to see brake lights just after the Ackerman Road exit. Once you get off of the highway onto Lane Avenue, a lot more brake lights there, of course. And Olentangy River Road is really slow right now from King to Lane. A reminder, the Day of Game parking lots on the Ag Campus and the Fawcett Center Day of Game lot currently full. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman here for Germain Honda of Dublin. So what's the difference? There are other Honda dealers around. Well, Rich Newsom and his team want to earn your trust. They don't expect it, and they earn it by giving you a great price, and then they back it up after the sale. With same-day service, no appointment necessary, a great variety of brand new Hondas, and hundreds of pre-owned certified Hondas to choose from, all at the same location. Identify yours at GermainHondaofDublin.com. Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
First down! Oh, what? Just cleared that drain last week.
Well, clearly that didn't work. Would you please just call the waterworks?
At the Waterworks, we mean clean. We'll get your drains good as new on the first down. And as for him, well, there's always the Buckeyes. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you need a new roof, but you're not sure you can afford it, no problem. Right now, Able Roof is offering no payments, no interest until 2026 for qualified buyers. Yep, that's the same Able Roof that's been voted the #1 roofing company in Columbus by Consumer Choice Awards 22 years in a row. Want more? Able Roof will give you up to $1,000 off a new roof, siding, or windows. This is a limited time offer, so call Able Roof today.
Call Able for the proof. 444 Roof.
When you travel, they always say, get a room with a view. And there's no better way to travel than with family, like the Toyota Truck family. Now through September 30th, get $2,000 customer cash on a new 24 Tundra, depending on model. Or lease a Tacoma SR Double Cab for $319 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS, tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
People can't say enough amazing things about Vanscoy Hair Clinics. Men and women struggle with hair loss every day, and they completely change their lives. Vanscoy Hair Clinics is the only company in Ohio that has PRP, platelet-rich plasma, and the multi-unit hair grafting hair transplant procedure. Go to vanscoyhair.com for more info, or call 614-432-8042. Here's what some of their hair transplant clients have said.
Around 26, 27, I lost almost all of my hair on top. It changed my life in ways that I could not imagine.
My hair is going to continue growing for the rest of my life. There is hope that you can do something about your hair loss.
Multi-unit hair grafting gives you 3 times more hair per procedure, saving you time and money. Hair transplants are more affordable than ever, and PRP is a fast, easy, and effective 45-minute treatment for thinning or damaged hair. Call Vanscoy for a free consultation, 614-432-8042, or visit vanscoyhair.com. That's 614-432-8042. Find out what procedure will restore your hair.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Kurgis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Kurgis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Ford versus Ferrari. The ultimate showdown is coming to Valley Ford of Columbus. Experience the thrill of Ford GTs and Ferraris for your up-close viewing at the Ultimate Car Show this Friday, September 13th from 6 to 9 p.m. Everyone's invited to check out these iconic machines and enjoy live music and food trucks. Show off your special car, too. All makes and models are welcome, and you can register them at the show or online at valleyfordofcolumbus.com. The official dealership of Carnell Tate and T-Bone. Valley Ford of Columbus.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
Brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus.
Good afternoon. I'm Buddy Wells. We'll start with top 25 scores in progress right now. Number 1, Georgia is just about to finish off a 48-0 win over Tennessee Tech. Scores from games that are late in the first half or already at halftime here. Northern Illinois leads 13-7 at number 5 Notre Dame. Number 6 Ole Miss leads Middle Tennessee 17-0. Number 11 Utah leads Baylor at home 23-0. Iowa State is at number 21 Iowa. The Hawkeyes lead 10-0, and number 22 Louisville leads Jacksonville State 28-7. And in the Big Ten, Michigan State and Maryland are even at 14-14. Washington leads Eastern Washington 14-6, and Wisconsin leads South Dakota 17-3. This update is sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus. Ford versus Ferrari night is Friday, September 13th at Valley Ford of Columbus. Visit valleyfordofcolumbus.com for more info. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
You're listening to the Kurgis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Kurgis & Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT.
Every game, every season, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
All right, back at it. Beautiful night on campus. Anthony Rothman, the All-American linebacker, Andy Katzenmoyer, and Tim May with us. And a cast of thousands here, Buckeye Nation, dressed up and ready to rock tonight against Western Michigan, who took Wisconsin all the way into the fourth quarter, probably felt like they should have won the game. They got a real strong running game. The passing game will kind of be a real managed, controlled deal for Western Michigan. They'll probably try to pick their spots. But nothing helps more, Andy, than putting an offense in third and long and forcing them to throw the ball. And when Ohio State's defense last week, when they weren't taken away, they were getting after the quarterback. And certainly they bounced Finley around early on in the game. We talked about that. But really, this Jim Knowles defense this year, they got after the quarterback. You mentioned it, 5 sacks, 10 TFLs in the win over Akron. And hopefully this trend will continue Give me a little taste on what you like about this defense so far through week one.
I just, like I said earlier, like they just fly around. Like there's 11 guys, doesn't matter who they are out there, but they are flying to the ball, whether it's run, pass, any part of the field. But you always see, all these silver bullets flying around, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it always helps when you've got a secondary. Well, it always helps when you have a veteran front four, right?
Right.
And it always helps when you have a veteran secondary. When you add Caleb Downs, who was basically the breakout player as a freshman last year for Alabama, into that mix at safety, and you got those two guys back, Ross Bjork walking by, thumbs up. That's also Giga Maggie's, by the way. But yeah, there you go. Now he's doing OHIO.
Hey, he was he was at Missouri when we played them.
Oh,
he told me that.
There you go. He knows Corby Jones personally.
He does.
He probably got his autograph. But the bottom line, when you get Denzel Burke and Davis Nigbenosin and Jordan Hancock, three guys who can start at corner pretty much anywhere in the country, and you had Jermaine Matthews as their backups, but then those two safeties, Lathan Ransom and Caleb Downs, you sandwich in two brand new starters at linebacker last week. And they had some growing pains a little bit, but I thought they played pretty well. But the thing about it is you just see speed everywhere you look on that defense. I don't know if you agree or not, but I just see quickness and speed at every position, including defensive tackles. I mean, Ty Hamilton and Tyleik Williams move extremely well for big guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially Williams, man.
Yeah.
Williams has a great first step, and just that aggressive nature, like you and I were talking about before the show started. I mean, I talked to Matt Finks about this before the season started too. There seems like that return to the silver bullets mentality is for real.
Well, and also, this is one more year under Jim Knowles and his style. He's getting more comfortable bringing in more guys that want to play his style of defense that he wants to call. So there's that component as well.
Yeah, it always helps if you know where you're going and why you're going there.
Correct.
Yeah.
But no, like this defensively, I hope that they take that next step this week. Western Michigan, I don't know if Wisconsin is good or not this year. I mean, they'll be competitive, but I don't think they'll be in the hunt for the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I think they're a few pieces away from that.
Yeah. In other words, you're looking at a barometer. Was that a real barometer game? I mean, when you look at it, Western Michigan had the lead going into the fourth quarter.
Right.
Tyler Van Dyke, when you started for Wisconsin, they still have growing pains on what they really want to be offensively.
Mm-hmm.
I think it showed. They've got brand new starters on the offensive line.
Right.
So, whereas Ohio State's got veterans everywhere except right guard. And, last week also left guard. But, if Donovan Jackson's back tonight, I think you will see a more cohesive unit, let's put it like that, from the get-go.
For sure.
I do think, we tout Madison as a tough place to go in and win.
It is.
The atmosphere, and maybe they expected to do it, and then when they were in a battle, they wound up winning it, so I'll give them credit they pulled it out. But I don't know.
Look at Penn State today, man.
Well, Penn State, maybe they were ripe for a letdown. Everyone thought they'd maybe get upset by West Virginia, and maybe they were feeling themselves coming back home and playing Bowling Green. Who knows? But you're right. They needed to reach down and win a game in the fourth quarter.
Right.
So every week in college football, it's tough to just keep adding things up to make them like a cumulative thing. Week to week, you don't know when you can get bit, but I'll give Western Michigan. This feels like a little bit of an upgrade for Ohio State in this game. Who knows if they can be physical with that running game we talked about with a 1,000-yard rusher. They did spread the ball around. When Hayden Wolf did throw it, he hit 8 different guys in the opener against Wisconsin.
Yep.
The key against Ohio State to just hang in a game, if you're Western Michigan, you have to manage things. And usually you look at it the other way, where the underdog has to take a bunch of chances and swing big. We're probably going to lose anyway.
Yeah.
But the way to hang in a game is sometimes to be conservative early. The punt can be a good play. Don't let it, so we'll see what happens if Western Michigan can slow this game down.
Well, last week,
bit.
a great example. Akron turned it over 3 times, and 2 of them were returned for touchdowns.
Yes.
Right.
Those are killers.
Those are backbreakers.
Absolute killers, especially when...
Look at Michigan today hosting Texas. I mean, those turnovers were huge.
Yeah, and it's the other thing.
That and the fact Michigan doesn't have a quarterback.
No, and, he hit a pass early and all that. But, yeah, their identity is trying to – and I don't know, maybe they just put their defense in such a tough spot against Texas time after time. But Texas is a really good team. We found out a lot of people predicted that Michigan would in whatever way implode this year, and what implosion means is probably at least 3 losses. They do get a lot of biggies at home. You know, maybe they could rise up 1 week, but you're right. They're going to struggle to fight fire with fire. That's not their way anyway.
Best way of putting it.
At least 4 losses.
Best way of putting it right there. Because offensively, I think we talked about this before the show started, too. I mean, Ohio State lost its second game of the season to Virginia Tech back in 2014 and won the national championship. It's easier to get in the college football playoff now than ever in history, but you still got to have offense. And those 2 quarterbacks today it bothered me how ineffective, for the most part, they were.
Now, from a script standpoint tonight, Western Michigan might have to throw it more than 18 times. They might. They might just be in a game script where they got to try to come back in a game.
Right.
You know, maybe they'll throw it.
They were up 14-13 going to them. They didn't
really
have to throw it last week.
They didn't.
Right.
And that's the deal. And so I don't know what this feels like, a game that Ohio State would like to feel really good going in their bye week. And I'll ask Andy this, and maybe this is a pretty general question too, but is there a mindset that is there anything that becomes not urgent but priority-wise you feel like, okay, I want to feel good for the next 2 weeks about this part of the team? And that's why I keep bringing up the running game. It'd be so nice to say, okay, wow, we can live on that for a couple weeks. I know they'll have Marshall coming in a bye week, but something you wouldn't want lingering for 2 weeks, I guess is the way I want to put it.
I think maybe taking that next elevation as far as offense, defense, special teams, minimize turnovers, and try to, get as many as you can. It would be great to see Ohio State continue to bring pressure or have pressure, but only bringing 4. And be as vanilla as possible and let athletes make plays and not have to go above and beyond and do crazy special things.
Yeah, and like today, you could tell Texas, Steve Sarkisian wanted to go into that game and he wanted to impress Texas with they were going to run the ball, not necessarily down their throat, but we're going to run the ball against this great front 7, the front 4. Right. And they did that early. And it kind of took Michigan's mojo away because Michigan knew it didn't have the offense to go toe-to-toe with Quinn Ewers and Texas.
Right.
And it's just a combination of things. But the feel-good factor for Texas coming out of that game, going into the big house, and doing what they did from a physical standpoint against Michigan's defense, boy, that's huge. And that's what you always want to feel, right?
They controlled the game from the jump.
Yeah.
And if Ohio State can do that today, control the game, establish what they want to establish, and be balanced, because that's what Chip Kelly wants to be, as well as Ryan Day.
Right.
Then they should feel great and come away injury-free relatively. They should feel happy.
Yeah, and I think they want to get James Peoples a little bit more online, with behind those other 2 guys. It'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah. Be as consistent as to Biddle. If you can be in this formation all night.
I was going to say that.
Well, I beat you to it.
I mean, ramp is still one of the great things of all times.
Yeah. And if you can march down the field like this, you got it. All right, your kickoff forecast is sponsored by Buyers Auto. Come see why it's better to buy from Buyers. 65 degrees expected at kick. By the fourth quarter, we'll be in the mid-50s, 55 degrees probably, closer to 11 o'clock. Winds 9 miles an hour right now. 0% chance of precip. I didn't say that. The weather people do. So don't hold me to that, but it feels like we are in for an outstanding night of football. All right, the handicapper to the stars, Scotty Vegas, will come up next. Does he owe us one this week? I think he owes us one this week. We'll find out next here on the Kurgis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
No problems to report, just some increased volume. 315 north and southbound have a few more brake lights around the Ackerman Road and Lane Avenue exits. It's once you get off the highway and onto some of these surface streets that you're going to find a lot more of a slowdown. Lane Avenue is very crowded between Kenny Road and High Street right now. Not a huge surprise. And of course, they're getting ready to open the stadium gates in just under 20 minutes. So be ready, that's going to mean a lot more pedestrian traffic in the area. With Game Day Traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
Hey friends, Brandon Beam here for Truehold. Home values in the city, well, they're sky high. We know that. You have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market has peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's the right time. Except for 2 things. High interest rates are going to burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Pretty smart, right? TrueHold is going to make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others, and it's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, secure your retirement, and do whatever you want with it. It's your cash. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. TrueHold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much TrueHold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. Again, that's TrueHold.com.
Football is all about winning, and so is the Hinderer Motor Company. This is Justin Hinderer. With 4 dealerships and a collision center, we've got everything you need to stay game day ready. Don't forget our Carvenience service, the most convenient way to service your vehicle. We pick it up, drop off a rental, and we bring it back to you when it's done. Plus, every vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Hinderer Motor Company, where convenience and confidence meet. Visit HindererMotorCompany.com. We love what moves you.
Football season is here, and so is tailgating season. Are you ready? If not, let Columbus Car Audio and Accessories help you get the latest and best accessories for your ride. Upgrade your sound system so everyone around can hear what team you're rooting for. Add mobile video and never miss a game on the road. Add style and privacy with window tint, and avoid scraping ice this winter by adding a remote starter. Choose Columbus Car Audio and Accessories when it comes to customizing your ride. Morse Road near Easton, Main Street in Reynoldsburg, or ColumbusCarAudio.com.
Most radio stations suck. Here's why. They don't invest in local programming. We're live and local 14 hours a day. You can rest assured that every stupid thing we say is 100% local. Homegrown, dumb since day one. The Fan.
Taking out the trash. That's what we're all about at Bourne Brothers Waste Services. This is Justin Bourne,
Zach Bourne, and Jacoby Bourne, former Ohio State football players.
We are your company for all of your trash and recycling needs.
Providing services that include front-load containers, mini and large roll-offs, and compactors. Contact us today for the best service in town. Bourne Brothers.
Bourne Brothers.
The real local trash company.
Taking out the trash.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire Care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just the slogan. That's the Care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
We're dealing at Reichert Ford. That means we got the car you need at the price you want. But don't take it from me. Hear it from
Buckeye running back, Travion Henderson.
Riker has what I'm looking for.
Defensive star, Jack Sawyer.
Grew up watching these guys on TV. My family's bought tons of cars from them.
With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car.
$2,500 low price guarantee.
Thousands of vehicles are waiting. ReichertFord.com.
Get the right car at Reichert.
We're dealing.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Cool and comfortable this Saturday afternoon with sunshine and highs near 70. Overnight, mostly clear and chilly. Lows near 40 and even a few upper 30s possible in rural areas. On Sunday, mostly sunny, highs in the mid-70s. And then low 80s again on Monday with more sunshine. I'm meteorologist Mike Joyce on 97.1 The Fan.
Chicken wings, check. Drinks, check. Listening to The Fan, check. It must be game day.
Sponsored by Reichert Ford.
Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan. Are you ready for another Buckeye victory? Because we sure are. You're listening to the Curtis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Curtis & Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HEARD. That's 614-GOT-HEARD.
Your flagship home for Ohio State football, The Fan.
All right, back on campus, Anthony Rothman, Andy Katzenmoyer, Tim May, and the handicapper to the Stars, Scotty Vegas, who owes us one. He will make us guess some spreads, no doubt, today. I am a little worried because I probably tossed Notre Dame on the money line into several large parlays, and I'm a little worried about the Irish, who, by the way, speak about letdown city. Now they're trailing at half to Northern Illinois. Scotty, what was the spread on that game?
So the spread was actually Notre Dame was a 4-touchdown favorite in that one. More importantly, though, guess what the money line was? Because, of course, Notre Dame down 13-7 at the half to Northern Illinois.
Game's not over, right?
Nope, halftime. But by the
money
way,
line on Northern Illinois.
Money line on Northern Illinois.
Oh, I bet it was plus 1,000, 10 to 1, something like that?
22 to 1.
22
to 1. And the amazing thing about this score to me, more so than anything else, is the fact that Northern Illinois has 218 total yards, too. It's not just like a fluky score.
Yeah.
Right? They're going up and down the field on Notre Dame. So pretty wild. But, yeah, 22 to 1 was the money line. And Notre Dame, by the way, was minus 8,000 just to win this game, which means an $8,000 bet
really?
on Notre Dame to win would just pay $100.
Yeah,
8,000 win 100.
And the only way you'd bet it is if you bet it like I did, where you threw it into a 10-leg parlay or something like that. All right, so Ohio State's laying 37. They're 0 for 1 on the cover. They didn't cover last week. I'd mentioned to you, when you have that accidental tough start, even though they scored defensively, you thought they may cover. Yeah, twice. So they're laying 37 tonight. Has this one ticked down a hair from the beginning of the week?
Yeah, it's kind of. I mean, it stayed relatively in that range. The thing is, it has not gone across any key numbers. So when you're thinking about key numbers, you're thinking about like 35 or 42 or 38 even. But yeah, it's kind of stayed around that 37
their
number.
Game
which is
against
interesting.
Wisconsin didn't really affect much. Vegas thinks Ohio State's going to blow them out.
Yeah, I mean, well, when you look at last week, it was a slow start, right? The game was 17-3 at the half. And so, yeah, the Ohio State wasn't going to cover a game where you're only scoring 17 points in the first half when you are a 49-point favorite. You're just not going to cover that, despite the fact that they had 2 defensive scores. If you had said, okay, Ohio State's going to score defensively twice, and
cover easy,
you're thinking, oh my gosh! And by the way, only give up 6 points.
Yeah,
you're thinking,
you would think they
easy.
would roll for sure. Well, I picked them 69-3, so I was, in some form or fashion thinking, get it going in the second half. Don't make me look stupid. Real quick, speaking of lines, Michigan didn't just get beat at home today by Texas, but looked inadequate. Let's put it that way. Offensively, it's early, right? I still want to see something that makes you think that they have a quarterback in house that can play. But how does that affect like the future line? I mean, you and I were talking about it before the show started.
Yeah, it's incredible to watch in real time because obviously Michigan looked terrible today and gets blown out by Texas. Well, the line for the Ohio State-Michigan game has changed significantly. So it has already gone up 4 points. So Ohio State goes from going into today, they were a 13.5-point favorite in the look-ahead line. Now Ohio State's a 17.5-point favorite. If that game was today, that's the line currently that you can get on that game. So kind of a wild thing. In fact, if you want it in the money line terms, Michigan is 8-1 to come to Columbus and win that game right now.
I got a weird. I know at the beginning of the season there was some talk about number of wins by certain teams, that kind of stuff. Does that continue to stay as the season rolls on?
You can sometimes still get in-season lines on total wins, yes. More so, you'll see more of like to make the playoff type lines, and you'll see those national championship odds move significantly. In fact, right now I was just looking at those, and Michigan has fallen all the way to 120-1 to win the national championship.
Oh, wow.
Now, think about it. Several years ago, right, in 2014, when Ohio State loses to Virginia Tech early, right? And at that point, you're like, okay, this Ohio State team has no chance at getting it together and winning a national championship. And obviously, we know that they do, and their line at that point was unbelievable. Now, Michigan falling to 120-1 is very interesting because all this talk of, well, you can lose twice and still make the college football playoff. But they look so bad today, I don't think anybody believes that they're still going to make the playoff.
What was your biggest play going into today? Where were you looking that just caught your interest?
Well, fortunately, the one that I looked at the most was Rutgers.
Yeah.
And I want to talk a little bit about this strategy because I think this is something that Buckeye fans can look at going forward. So Rutgers was playing an Akron team that last week we saw how beat up they got, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
correct.
Finley, their quarterback on the sideline, is like holding his heart, making sure he's still alive on the sideline during that game. And so,
we're not laughing; we're just reacting. Go ahead.
Right. So I always like looking at seeing who Ohio State's opponent is playing the very next week.
Yeah.
And so Akron was taking on Rutgers. And that line was Rutgers minus 22. And Rutgers ends up blowing them out. So that kind of, it's kind of a thing that's happened year after year.
You and I have charted
year.
this for a long time.
Yeah. So in this case, you look at who Western Michigan is playing.
Right, so I was just fixing to ask you.
Yeah.
And do you expect them to be, a beat-up kind of a little bit of a team coming in here?
I mean, if you look
I'm
at
giving
that,
my pick at the end of the show, but I'm feeling pretty good for Ohio State's chances.
So Western Michigan played a 4-quarter game last week against Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
And they were actually leading going into that fourth quarter. I think that actually benefits Ohio State a little bit looking at this line. Ohio State with a slow start last week. The fact that Western Michigan is a team that played pretty well at a Big Ten stadium last week. So you don't overlook them as much as some people generally typically do. So I think that's going to help with Ohio State covering the line today.
Now, you went in, these are the risky plays. You went first score touchdown last week, and what happens? Akron kicks a field goal, and the bet goes down the toilet.
Yeah.
Do we go back to the well for an Ohio State touchdown to start this game?
Yep.
I think it's getting even money on a Super Boost.
It is.
I know on Bet365 it is.
I'm already in on it.
Okay.
Yes, I did that exact bet. Yes,
Okay.
I love it. And Ohio State to have the very first score of the game be a touchdown.
Has to be a touchdown.
To get even money on it, that's fantastic.
You know, it's funny because I picked Ohio State to score the first 4 times it had the ball last week in our Letterman Row thing, and so I just said it didn't happen, so I picked it again. So should I feel good about myself? Should I feel good about myself? That's field goal or touchdown.
Yeah, keep riding with it.
Yeah.
That's something that
keep riding. I like that line.
It was kind of a fluky look. Ohio State scored 2 on their first 6 possessions.
Yeah.
Who the heck would have thought that they would only score on 2 of 6? I mean, it was unbelievable. And as you and I were talking about, if Jeremiah Smith catches that first ball of the game, it might be a very different start to the game last
Tim,
week.
let it ride. Great Richard Dreyfuss
let
movie.
it ride, let it ride.
Great. I got a horse right here. His name is Paul Revere. 37 points. You laying it?
I am. Yeah, I'm willing to lay it for sure.
Over-under's 54.
See, I stay away from doing over-unders for the most part. It's not something that I typically like to root for during a game, right?
But isn't it your last hope?
Well, no. Your last hope is always that game that starts at 11 o'clock, and you can chase that at the end of the day. That's always the last hope.
I'm talking about in a particular
Hawaii
game.
Usually Hawaii.
Right, it's Hawaii playing.
All right. So we expect Ohio State against the spread this year to have a better than 500 record. I would, more than not, right?
Yeah.
So they're 0 for 1 on the cover. So we're going that they're going to get even this week.
Absolutely.
Lay the 37.
I think so. I mean, like I said, the factors that come in, the fact this is a night game in the shoe, the fact that Western Michigan played well last week, so you're not completely overlooking them. The fact that Ohio State started out slow, the offense is going to want to prove something this week. I mean, everything points to me that you're going to cover this game.
Yep. I agree with you. We'll give our final predictions at the end of the show. Scotty Vegas, thanks, my man.
Woo! Thank you.
All right, game day coverage is sponsored by Reichert Ford on the Fan. When we come back, we will do our keys to the game tonight. This is Ohio Sports Destination.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
No problems to report at the moment on 315. It's flowing nicely, both north and southbound, with just a little bit of an increase in traffic around the Ackerman Road and Lane Avenue exits. Speaking of Lane Avenue, it's really crowded from Kenny all the way over to High Street. Also on Olentangy between King north to Lane, very, very crowded. Kenny is slow from Ackerman to Kinnear, and North High Street is very slow between 11th and Oakland Avenue. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on the Fan.
When you travel, they always say, get a room with a view. And there's no better way to travel than the roomy new Toyota Camry. It's all hybrid all the time, so you can take your travels even farther. Now through September 30th, you can lease a Camry LE for $299 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing with approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Book your room now. Toyota. Let's go places.
No. First down!
Oh, what? Just cleared that drain last week.
Well, clearly that didn't work. Would you please just call the waterworks?
At the Waterworks, we mean clean. We'll get your drains good as new on the first down. And as for him, well, there's always the Buckeyes. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results.
Kemba Financial Credit Union pays you to save. Get a $300 bonus with a new money market account and earn a premium interest rate on your money. It adds up to big-time savings for your goals and dreams. Visit Kemba.org to check our rates and learn more. Restrictions apply. Bonus requires Advantage status and $10,000 minimum balance be deposited in the first 30 days and maintained to qualify for a $100 bonus at 90 days and $200 at 180 days after opening. Federally insured by NCUA. Offer ends September 30th.
Experience a piece of history this September and pay tribute to those that have served in the Vietnam War. Delaware County Veterans Services invites you to visit the Wall That Heals from September 12th through the 15th at Havener Park in Liberty Township. Witness the official 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. The Wall That Heals is free and open to the public 24 hours a day until 2 p.m. on the 15th. For volunteering opportunities and to learn more, please visit thewallthathealsohio.com.
Bobby Carpenter once sold workout equipment on QVC Canada. There's no joke here. That actually happened. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Kurgis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Kurgis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
People can't say enough amazing things about Vanscoy Hair Clinics. Men and women struggle with hair loss every day, and they completely change their lives. Vanscoy Hair Clinics is the only company in Ohio that has PRP, platelet-rich plasma, and a multi-unit hair grafting hair transplant procedure. Go to vanscoyhair.com for more info, or call 614-432-8042. Here's what some of their hair transplant clients have said.
Around 26, 27, I lost almost all of my hair on top. It changed my life in ways that I could not imagine.
My hair is going to continue growing for the rest of my life.
There is hope that you can do something about your hair loss.
Multi-unit hair grafting gives you 3 times more hair per procedure, saving you time and money. Hair transplants are more affordable than ever, and PRP is a fast, easy, and effective 45-minute treatment for thinning or damaged hair. Call Vanscoy for a free consultation, 614-432-8042, or visit vanscoyhair.com. That's 614-432-8042. Find out what procedure will restore your hair.
Integrity, honesty, and quality. Words we live by here at Monogram Homes. Hi, this is Dina. And at Monogram Homes, we strive to bring your wants to your man cave, your needs to your kitchen, and your ideas to life. Most home builders claim to be custom, but starting with stock floor plans and templates isn't our idea of a tailored experience. At Monogram Homes, we start with a blank slate and work with you until you get exactly what you want. So start your true custom home journey today with a builder you can trust. Monogram Homes. Visit us online at monogramhomes.net.
This is the Fans Game Day Scoreboard.
Brought to you by Valley Ford of Columbus.
Good afternoon. Buddy Wells, top 25 scores from around the country here. Northern Illinois still leads 13-7 at number 5 Notre Dame. Number 11 Utah leads Baylor at home 23-3. Iowa State is at number 21 Iowa. The Hawkeyes lead there 13-0. And number 22 Louisville leads Jacksonville State 28-14. All those games are either at halftime or very early in the third quarter. One game that's still in the first half is number 6 Ole Miss. They lead Middle Tennessee 24-0. In the Big Ten, Michigan State leads at Maryland 17-14. Washington leads Eastern Washington 21-6. And Wisconsin leads South Dakota 17-10. Those games are also either at halftime or early in the third quarter. This update is sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus. Ford versus Ferrari night is Friday, September 13th at Valley Ford of Columbus. Visit valleyfordofcolumbus.com for more info.
It's the Curtis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Curtis and Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT.
If you're listening to the Buckeyes, you're listening to us. Your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan. Today's keys to the game are sponsored by Toyota.
Brought to you by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
All right, indeed, back on campus. The Ohio State Buckeyes making their walk from the valet at the Blackwell into the Skull Session. Headphones on, sweat gear on, high-fiving the fans, and ready for their night game tonight against Western Michigan. Anthony Rothman, Andy Katzenmoyer, and Tim May. We talked about this game and what, I mean, the key to the game. We all think, I believe, without giving away our predictions, that Ohio State will win fairly convincingly. But I do feel like that the run defense and the linebacking play is going to have to level up again tonight. I think it could be a physical game up front with Western Michigan. I know we just talked about whether to buy into their game at Wisconsin. I do feel like that had to give them some confidence, because I don't think they were talking about a moral victory. I think they felt like that was a game we let get away and we should have won. And so I don't think they'll be horribly intimidated. Obviously, the talent level from Wisconsin, Ohio State, we feel is a leap for Western Michigan. But I'm looking at the run defense tonight. I think they're going to try to run Buckley a lot. And I think it's going to start there, because if you can put this team in third and long, third and medium, it sets up for maybe a very successful night for the defense, Andy.
Oh, for sure. No, I 100% agree with you. I think that the key is going to be just seeing how our defensive front and linebackers fit to stop the run against Western Michigan.
And when you say fit, you mean by reading the play correctly?
Making sure that they read the play correctly, the player they're going against, and make sure that they're gap sound.
Yeah.
There's no open holes.
Yeah. The interesting thing, I think, Western Michigan threw only 18, 19 passes all game last week at Wisconsin. Had a shot at an upset. I think a legitimate shot at an upset. They were getting the ball back, leading 14-13 early in the fourth quarter. And as has been pointed out a couple times on this show, ball goes off the foot of a guy who didn't get out of the way. And the next thing you know, Wisconsin gets 2 quick touchdowns, and that's that. But the bottom line is, they're going to come in here feeling like they can play. The interesting thing is, and Scotty Vegas brought it up when we were talking to him last segment, that's a physical game they had to play last week at Wisconsin. And as I point out to people, these kind of games, like a MAC school. A lot of these MAC schools have really good starting lineups. I mean, really talented guys in a lot of spots. But they don't have that depth that when a one or two guys, like we were talking about, what Western Michigan's got a couple of really good guys in the middle of their defensive front. But if those guys need to be spelled or they end up going out of a game, they don't have that cavalcade of stars coming in behind them and stuff.
Or if they stay in, by the third quarter, they'll be
wear
dashed.
them out.
Right,
wear them out. So it's imperative. I mean, Ohio State, that's why Chip Kelly, he wants to get the running game going big time from the get-go tonight and wear on these guys. I mean, as Ryan Day said, the theme of this season is leave no doubt, and that means from the first play on.
I'd be interested to see tonight if Chip Kelly does some up-tempo offense.
Yeah.
Just to change it up and just see how the team responds in the game situation.
Feels like the weather certainly will play to that. Last week, honest to God, I'm just talking about this as someone that's doing the show. It was pretty thick last week. The humidity was there. Yeah. Maybe that, played a factor a little bit, but tonight, cool, night game. You got a game under your belt. I agree with you.
And you have an off week next week.
And the off week next week.
Exactly. And the other thing is, it feels like football weather, right?
More so, yeah. More so.
I think that definitely affects the players as much as anybody else. So, that's all what they want to do. But Western Michigan, of course, is coming in here with a plan, So you got to beat that plan.
Sometimes, when you have there's two ways of looking at it. You get a bye week, you get the team maybe kind of coming into a game a little more casual. We're not playing next week and all that. I think it's the opposite. I think that this team feels like there's no look-ahead game. There's nothing like that. And I feel like they do want to make somewhat of a statement. I thought they made a fairly decent statement last week.
I do, too.
Look what happened to Oregon. Oregon sleepwalks in their game against Idaho. Not that this matters, but they dropped what from is it 3-7? I think in the polls.
Well, the point is they got the red zone and couldn't score.
Yeah.
I mean, that was their problem.
Yeah.
I mean, Dylan Gabriel threw like 48, 49 passes in that game, complete like 43.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But you got to score in the red zone, man, and that's what Ohio State was pushing after last year. That's what they want to be. 52 points is good no matter who you play, but only 38 of that came from your offense last week. So you want to get that rectified.
Absolutely.
Yeah, listen, turnovers, especially when you're this good, change a game so dramatically.
Yeah.
You almost feel like if you're the underdog, and I said this earlier, that you just take care of the ball, and if you lose, you lose. But when you're handed over to these Ohio State Buckeyes, I mean, they forced 11 turnovers in their 13 games last year, which for any team, they might take that. A little less than one per game, okay, we'll take a turnover. But the fact that you got 3 and 2 of them went for touchdowns, it's kind of what Andy pointed out, that instinctual, opportunistic, a play is never over. And the definition of that was Caden Curry coming back and popping him and them taking it the other way. So if they can go back to being that type of opportunistic team where they feel like they can just instinctually play defense, look out.
And just fly around and make plays.
Yeah, Andy, see, that's what the sense I've had about this defense since spring football, though, is they have that feel about them that they can do that they can take control of a game at any moment. You know what I mean? And that's because you got so many veterans, man. They're playing at a high level. I mean, like I said, the only real question mark going into this season was what the linebacker rotation, or whatever you want to call it, was going to look like, right? And you got Cody Simon, who played a tremendous amount. He didn't get to play last week. I think that affected them a little bit, but I just have this sense that this is one of those every so often defenses you get, like in 1973, man. They didn't hardly give up points, much less yardage and stuff. And this defense has that feel to me. What about you?
No, I absolutely agree with you. Like, this is a special.
I mean, like you guys in '98.
This is so my 3 years we had, in my opinion, I came in as a freshman, obviously played with a very senior-laden defense. They come off, they lost to Michigan, they lost to Tennessee in the bowl game, and they were bitter. And coming in as a freshman, you could feel that during camp.
Plus, you changed things, coordinator and everything else.
Changed coordinator, changed style. We changed the way that we actually fit. We were a gap control defense, and instead of letting seams down the middle, or north and south in traditional talk, we made everything bounce. And then we flew guys around and make sure the back, whatever. So that changed really how we schemed and how we ran. And that year was we had a great defense. The next year, because of all those guys that left, we had some inexperienced guys that showed up early on the first couple games, but we got better as a team every week. And we gave them a Michigan run for the money up there. We played well in the bowl game, but Florida State was loaded, whatever. So, and then the next year we returned a ton of guys, and that defense, we were stacked. And we could go too deep, and I didn't have any doubt that that second guy coming in would fill the shoes of the guy that was a starter.
Yeah, well, that's this team, and
that is this team for sure.
And it can be a tiebreaker in so many games. It can be the difference maker. They haven't lost many games over the last few years, but when they have, it felt like the defense let them down at some point, whether it was against Georgia, giving up a big play, or somebody, but they were
even
so
fourth
close
quarter in the bowl game against Missouri. I mean, they're up 3-0. You know what I mean? But you have up 14 points, and that's that.
I think we've bulk erased that game out of our memory.
Yeah, I think everybody has.
I have as well.
I'm not even sure it happened.
Probably not. All right, when we come back, we'll do our final predictions. We'll check in with the voice of the Buckeyes. Keys to the game, sponsored by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. Visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. This is the Kurgis and Associates Fan Tailgate Show. Remember, they don't get paid unless you get paid right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
Well, they just opened the stadium gates a few minutes ago, and that means a lot more pedestrian traffic is heading in that direction. Something to be aware of as you're off on those surface streets. 315 north and southbound, still no problems to report. A little bit crowded on the Lane Avenue and Ackerman Road exit ramps, but otherwise moving nicely. And a reminder, the day of game parking lots at the Fawcett Center and on the Ag Campus are both full. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
Now you can ship the delicious flavors of Schmidt sausages to any tailgate around the country. Send a taste of Columbus tradition to your favorite fan base, wherever they may be. Just place your order, and Schmidt's will package up their famous sausages and sides ready for the grill on game day. Go to schmidthaus.com/shop and use coupon code TAILGATE and receive 15% off your purchased order. Why tailgate when you can Schmidtgate?
At Byers Auto, we've been football fans since 1897, back when tailgates had actual tails. Our legacy of supporting our local team is as strong as our commitment to providing exceptional vehicles. While we're known for our new cars, we also offer a variety of pre-owned vehicles that meet our rigorous standards. Our friendly staff is here to help you find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and budget. Visit us in person or shop online at buyersauto.com. Come see why it's better to buy at Byers.
And what is it called?
A ceiling fan.
And where is it?
It's on the floor.
And why is that a problem?
Well, see, the person who named it probably should have called it a floor. No, that's not right. The guy on TV I saw put up a ceiling fan.
Are you a TV star, Paul?
No, I'm not.
Are you an electrician, Paul?
I am not.
You are?
I am a middle management accountant, and I shouldn't be putting up ceiling fans.
You should.
Call the pros who knows.
Apex Pros.
The pros who know electrical work, too. Hi, it's Alex from Apex Pros. And if you liked us for plumbing, cooling, and heating, you're gonna love our pro electricians.
Apex Pros are on the way.
Much easier, isn't it?
I'm glad we sorted this out.
Me too.
Columbus loves the pros who knows. Schedule with one click at apexpros.com.
Football season is here, and we have so much stuff. One station isn't enough. Find even more pigskin on ESPN Columbus.
Set your second preset to AM 1460 or 97.1 FM HD2, or listen on the Fan app.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you need a new roof, but you're not sure you can afford it, no problem. Right now, Able Roof is offering no payments, no interest until 2026 for qualified buyers. Yep, that's the same Able Roof that's been voted the #1 roofing company in Columbus by Consumer Choice Awards 22 years in a row. Want more? Able Roof will give you up to $1,000 off a new roof, siding, or windows. This is a limited time offer, so call Able Roof today.
Call Able for the proof. 444 Roof.
Taking out the trash. That's what we're all about at Bourne Brothers Waste Services. This is Justin Bourne,
Zach Bourne, and Jacoby Bourne, former Ohio State football players.
We are your company for all of your trash and recycling needs.
Providing services that include front-load containers, mini and large roll-offs, and compactors. Contact us today for the best service in town. Bourne Brothers.
Bourne Brothers.
The real local trash company.
Taking out the trash.
It's time for huge summer savings at Honda Marysville.
Now through September 14th, get 0% for 60 on any new SUV or truck with a trade. And don't forget our $39 oil change special, where we'll get you in and out in an hour, or it's on us.
It really is the perfect time to get to Honda Marysville, where great summer savings are closer than you think.
0% with approved credit, plus finance 80% of MSRP. Offer available with 2010 or newer trade with KBB appraisal of $2,500 or more. Must take delivery from dealer stock 9/4 to 9/14/24.
At KeyBank, we know a small moment like,
whoa, my kid's got a serious backhand.
Can lead to an even bigger question like,
tennis camp is how much?
And that's the type of moment where we'll meet you to help you build a savings plan for expenses big and small so your money can make money. Mike, how's that sound?
Sounds like match point.
Sounds like love.
We could serve up tennis puns all day.
For every financial need, we'll meet you in the moment. KeyBank opens doors. KeyBank member FDIC.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hello, I like football. I have nothing clever to say. This is the Kurgis & Associates Fan Tailgate Show.
Kurgis & Associates, attorneys who care. Call 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
All right, inching closer to Buckeye football tonight, 7:30, Ohio State. Game 2 of their 103rd football season here in the great city of Columbus, Ohio. We have our man in the booth, and he'll be ready to go. Paul Keels, and our final check-in is sponsored by Byers Imports. Byers Imports, Hamilton Road by the airport. Paul, what's coming up, my man?
Well, Anthony, as always, we'll hear from both head coaches, Ryan Day from Ohio State and Lance Taylor from Western Michigan. Brandon Ennis will talk with Clay Hall about his thoughts on the game one. We'll also hear from Chip Kelly, Ohio State's offensive coordinator, about what they did and what they hope to continue to achieve. Former Buckeye receiver DeVere Posey will spend some time talking about some of his experiences as Ohio State, as well as being a Grey Cup MVP in the Canadian Football League. Robin Hook, the play-by-play voice of the Western Michigan Broncos, will give us his scouting outlook. And as always, we will have our award-winning, world-famous Gibson Guitar Mid-American Conference champion, Banks of the Olentangy, Robin Hood and his merry men, making it look mean version of Buckeye Flashback with Skip Mossick. That's coming up shortly.
All right. Thanks, Paul. Have a great call.
You're
Enjoy
welcome.
it. Thanks.
Hey, by the way, you said 103rd season.
Am I wrong?
In the city of Columbus, you meant Ohio Stadium.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
that's right. You're right.
Yeah. No, I was just making sure.
No, that's true.
If somebody's out there, and the last question on Jeopardy, you want to make sure they get it right.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I didn't even phrase it as a question, but thank you, my man. I agree. That's good stuff. Paul mentioned special teams. First game looked good. I mean, everything but, right? Everything but that breakaway. And you saw Brandon Ennis do that thing to the camera.
Right.
Like, man, I was a
even
shoelace
at blocking
away.
the back call, I'm not sure about that one. They had a decent return that was called back, but I'm not sure about that blocking the back thing. But, yeah.
They are very close.
That's what happens when your head coach is now much more heavily involved in special teams and stuff. The emphasis shows up. And
quite a luxury
I think that's
to
what
have.
we're seeing.
But I think that, every great team has the emphasis on all three phases of that.
Well, of course they do.
So when you can account and have your head coach really emphasize and get all the great players playing, 100% on special teams, why not?
Well, we're just talking about comparing it to like last year and stuff. They were lackluster. And Brandon Ennis is so bound and determined to get a return for a touchdown. He's one of those guys, man. I was asking him about it this week. Jalen Marshall was the last guy that was really just, Emeka Egbuka's been good, but Jalen Marshall, way back in 14, in that little era, he was going to return every punt. Unless it was just against the rules. And Brandon Ennis has the same mindset, and he also has, because I think a big thing, covering football as long as I have, I think a big thing for punt returners is not just audacity, but it's you can see stuff when you're not even looking at it, if you understand what I mean.
Right.
You can see the coverage coming at you, and I asked him about that very thing, and he says, he can kind of see what's happening even as he's looking up for the ball, so he doesn't have to necessarily steal a glance, and things like that. And if you know your first move after you catch that ball, and if your first move can be upfield, what a huge thing, and he's kind of got that about him. The moxie, audacity, and peripheral vision, but everything else, because, boy, if you're going north and south, it just changes things on a punt return.
Absolutely.
The confidence that he has that he got off to a great start, and even when he had to go back and field that punt and save field position was confident.
Yeah.
Because a lot of guys that don't have it, if you can't field it cleanly, get the you-know-what away from it.
Yeah.
And because you don't want something stupid to happen. But he had the confidence to go back there and field it like a guy going back into short center and taking it on and it was
a great example is Western Michigan. The game turned last week when the guy couldn't field the punt, and his other guys weren't paying maybe attention to him, and he didn't really do a safe call or whatever. You got to get away. And the ball hits a Western Michigan player. Wisconsin gets the ball, scores a touchdown, and the game gets flipped.
I think the beauty of it is, and you can almost sense it, that Ohio State games now can turn in their favor in a lot of different ways. Defensively, not that they were worried about Akron, but the game turned defensively. A ball goes through a receiver's hands. Denzel Burke is there. He's focused enough because he's focused to try to break it up or at least get the guy on the ground. Ball goes through his hands. He picks it. And they made a play right after. And that's the reason I asked Lachey about the third and fourth down calls.
Right.
Because after that blew up, they turned to their defense right away, and they changed momentum of that game when he ripped the ball away. I also liked, Andy, that they essentially got pressure with 3 last week. Now, I know it was Akron. I want to put that disclaimer on it. But, Caleb Downs was almost delayed rushing, protecting the middle. And when JT forced him up into Caleb, there's nowhere to go. It was very calculated, I thought, the way they rushed the quarterback last week.
No, it was fantastic. When you can drop 8 and get pressure, you can't for a defense. You can't ask for more than that.
No.
Allowing one of their most talented guys to kind of read the play and wait and just
and do his thing.
That's like a delayed rush, a delayed blitz, where he's maybe acting as a spy, and then once he recognizes it's going to be an actual pass versus some kind of boot or whatever, he can apply pressure where needed.
Yeah, and defensive end-wise, I thought Jack Sawyer had the most active game for having so few stats. It was ridiculous. Right. JT Tuimoloau had a quiet, really effective game. And then you got Caden Curry causing that one, the one play that turns into a touchdown. You had Kenyatta Jackson, them throwing him down in there into that Wall Street sort of rush man thing. I thought he had applied pretty good pressure. And Edric Houston, he broke up 2 passes, one of which gets returned for a touchdown when Gabe Powers picks it out of the air off the deflection. They had the defensive end room. Well, the defensive ends meet with the tackles, but the defensive end cadre had a hell of an opening game.
Absolutely.
And then we'll look for more from Will Howard tonight. It wasn't that we purposely didn't talk about him a lot today, but it was almost like he met expectations, and now that dart that he threw on that slant to Smith to made it 17-3, it was almost like that cracked the seal on the Buckeye season in a way. Defensively, they already had done it, but offensively, I felt like that was the one. This fastball, and okay, this guy's got a trigger, and he can pull it. All right, Tim, it's your time, my man.
What? To do what? Oh, I thought I had to go get drinks first.
Porta potty.
Last week I picked 69-3. This week I'm tempering my expectations to 56-3. I really believe this could be a big time offense once they get rolling.
Andrew,
I think 48-9.
48-9.
Yes.
Okay.
That's an interesting pick.
3 field goals, or are they getting in the end zone?
I think they get in the end zone late.
Okay. I'm going 49-10.
You were so close last week.
We're all there on the cover. I know. It was a point away at each side. All right. For Bodie in the studio, Big Dan, thank you for your hard work. Josh and the rest of the crew. For Tim, Andy, I'm Anthony. Have a great time. Enjoy Buckeye football right here on The Fan.
Fan traffic.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin. Visit Riverside Bank and experience the strength of local.
315 north and southbound, pretty crowded trying to get off at those Lane and Ackerman Road exits specifically. A bit of brake light action around the King Ave Medical Center exit also on the northbound side. Once you're off onto the surface streets, you're going to find Lane Avenue, Kenny Road, Olentangy River Road, and North High Street very, very crowded. And for parking, the Neal Avenue and 11th Avenue garages are now full. With game day traffic, I'm Kate Burdett on The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Ford versus Ferrari. The ultimate showdown is coming to Valley Ford of Columbus. Experience the thrill of Ford GTs and Ferraris for your up-close viewing at the Ultimate Car Show this Friday, September 13th from 6 to 9 p.m. Everyone's invited to check out these iconic machines and enjoy live music and food trucks. Show off your special car, too. All makes and models are welcome, and you can register them at the show or online at valleyfordofcolumbus.com. The official dealership of Carnell Tate and T-Bone, Valley Ford of Columbus.
Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, Jerry. You seem pretty happy this morning. I invented a song. You know songwriters have an actual word for inventing a song. Everything we want people to know about Eco. Ready? Can't wait. Get Eco. G-E-T-E-C-O. Get Eco. They can really go. Get Eco. For your Cinco. Fix and a Blinko. You'll think-o. Hooray. Get Eco. G-E-T-E-C-O. Get Eco. You'll be cool like snow. Get Eco. Like an ice Ringo. Puerto Rico. Get Eco today. What do you think? You know we don't serve Puerto Rico, right? I do know that. I mean, the drive alone from Ohio is like, geez. Way too far. But you ran out of rhymes for Eco? You gotta admit, the rest is pretty catchy. Oh, it's earworming already.
Get Eco.
As is that thing.
Integrity, honesty, and quality. Words we live by here at Monogram Homes. Hi, this is Dina. And at Monogram Homes, we strive to bring your wants to your man cave, your needs to your kitchen, and your ideas to life. Most home builders claim to be custom, but starting with stock floor plans and templates isn't our idea of a tailored experience. At Monogram Homes, we start with a blank slate and work with you until you get exactly what you want. So start your true custom home journey today with a builder you can trust. Monogram Homes. Visit us online at monogramhomes.net.
Kemba Financial Credit Union pays you to save. Get a $300 bonus with a new money market account and earn a premium interest rate on your money. It adds up to big-time savings for your goals and dreams. Visit Kemba.org to check our rates and learn more. Restrictions apply. Bonus requires Advantage status and $10,000 minimum balance be deposited in the first 30 days and maintained to qualify for a $100 bonus at 90 days and $200 at 180 days after opening. Federally insured by NCUA. Offer ends September 30th.
Experience a piece of history this September and pay tribute to those that have served in the Vietnam War. Delaware County Veterans Services invites you to visit the Wall That Heals from September 12th through the 15th at Havener Park in Liberty Township. Witness the official 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. The Wall That Heals is free and open to the public 24 hours a day until 2 p.m. on the 15th. For volunteering opportunities and to learn more, please visit thewallthathealsohio.com.
Our clients deserve for us to care, and they deserve to feel serviced. They have questions, and they deserve answers. We're counselors first because I'm not selling them anything. I'm trying to teach clients how to protect themselves. At Kurgis & Associates, we're personal injury attorneys. We've helped and continue to help hundreds and hundreds of clients every year. That's important to us. If you've been injured in an accident and it's not your fault, call now. 614-GOT-HURT. That's 614-GOT-HURT. Kurgis & Associates. Attorneys who care.
When you travel, they always say, get a room with a view. And there's no better way to travel than in a roomy new Toyota, like the best-selling RAV4. Now through September 30th, get 4.99 APR financing on a new gas-powered 2024 RAV4. Or lease a RAV4 LE for $339 a month for 36 months with $32.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details. Or go to Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan from Learfield. This is the AEP Energy Buckeye pregame show. Brought to you statewide by AEP Energy and by Encova Insurance on the Ohio State Sports Network. Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics. And brought to you locally by State Farm, your Central Ohio Toyota dealers, and by the Diamond Cellar. On your home of the Buckeyes, live and local weekdays beginning at 6 a.m. with Morning Juice on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination. Now, along with Matt Andrews, Skip Mossick, and Jim Lachey, here's the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels.
It's week 2 for the second-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes, and on the heels of their 52-6 win over Akron last Saturday, they will again entertain a Mid-American team. The Western Michigan Broncos come in after having suffered a loss